you just put X, like any word that starts with X, like excellent. Or,
like those gamer tags where it's like XX NoobTuber XX.
yeah, exactly.
Noobmaster69.
Yeah.
I saw a good idea on Twitter that someone said Noobmaster69 from Endgame should be Deadpool. That's how they should introduce him in the MCU.
Didn't someone
Oh,
post
yeah.
that meme in the group chat? Maybe.
Oh, maybe it was.
Okay.
Maybe it was me.
Oh.
Travis is claiming he found it on Twitter, but really
I created it. I just took whoever wrote it and just like took off their logo and replaced it. Put the G
terribly
logo.
like,
I like how to
terribly
take off a logo,
Photoshopped.
you like rub it like it's a
Oh yeah.
Like, you
ointment
go,
on a
you
hat.
I've
like the
synced, like-
black paint and you just
That's my mutant power. I've synced all electronics to my skin, so
Damn.
it's great unless the electronics get spilled
That
water
is
on me. I'm
one-
like, oh.
That is one of the most unique superpowers I've ever seen in my life.
I know.
Let's write it. Ship it. Geek First Studios. Come in.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Home theater.
I was ready technically 52 seconds ago when I said, "Are you guys ready?" And then you guys started talking about.
Or
game
I wasn't
rotate,
ready.
So
So now I'm saying I'm ready.
hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to
Boom.
the
That's how you introduce
279th episode of the Geek First Podcast. I am the #1 Michael Fassbender fanboy, Travis Snell.
I am that. Oh God.
Oh!
It's been a long day. It's been a very stressful day. So it's good to
been
be
a
here in front of the
while.
mic. I'll try to sort myself out here. I am the Adam Hart caster, Dylan Muss.
And I am the incredible Kirkland Patzer.
Nice. Good. You had the accent just
Thank you.
down. Just down pat.
Was it close? I was aiming for
It was really
Okay,
good.
thanks.
I actually thought like Nightcrawler was using the spare mic.
You might ban fan, who knows?
Before we get into, obviously, we are reviewing X-Men Dark Phoenix. You know that rigmarole. But before we get into that, just some quick shout-outs. This weekend, if you're listening to this live, is E3. It is happening Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Sunday and Monday, we will be doing watch-alongs and podcasts right after. The best thing to do this weekend, honestly, is go to our Twitter and Facebook. Yeah, we pin it all the time. But follow or like it because our whole schedule will be going. I'm going to post it Saturday. And that's anytime we go live, we'll be sharing the link. So whatever the E3 schedule is, ours will be similar to that. But Sunday, Monday, we'll do watch-alongs, the podcast. And then Tuesday night will be a E3 wrap-up. One breaking down the Nintendo Direct because they've announced what are the three? I can't remember the other one, but the main showcases are Marvel Alliance 3, Luigi's Mansion 3, and something else. I can't remember what it was, but there'll be
Smash
some
or was
surprises.
it something else?
No. I think it was like a game that hasn't been out or something like that.
Animal Crossing, something.
Maybe something like that. I didn't.
Okay.
Whatever it was, I was like, I don't care. So that's my fault. But that's why Tuesday we'll have all the info, all the sheets. So you want to tune into all of that. Also, if you're a Black Mirror fan, by the time you listen to this, there should be a Black Mirror review up by Dylan and myself.
The boys.
We've done the past 2 seasons now, and Bandersnatch,
And the
right?
movie, yeah, we've been
so-
in there.
Yeah, I still think one time we got to go back and do those first few
We
seasons.
really should.
Yeah. What else is happening? Oh, if you like X-Men, this happened. We haven't had a podcast since then. X-Men polls are now live. If you follow our Facebook, you know we do a bunch of versus polls. Taylor has some weird way you can verse if they fight, or vote how you like. I don't know. I vote for the people I like the most, but right now what's going on is Storm and X-23. I'm
That's
pretty
right.
disappointed.
Yeah,
Storm.
I'm
I know
disappointed as
Storm
well.
is just in control.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I feel like every day our page votes for, oh, this is a fight, and then every day they vote for, oh, who's popular.
It's weird, man.
It keeps switching
I feel
on
like
and
every
off.
single vote I threw into the X-Men poll has not won.
Except Wolverine, because
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
But he was against like Iceman or something.
no,
stupid.
Cyclops.
Oh yeah, Cyclops.
Scott.
Stands no chance.
Scott's always losing. He's always second to Wolverine.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then if you like what we do, go to the description down below. I'm throwing this out at the beginning, but we're everywhere. iTunes, or I guess Apple Podcasts now. Podcoin, go listen there and you get
Podcoin,
paid to
the new
listen.
one, right?
Yeah, new one. Yeah, SoundCloud, Stitcher, the whole shebang. And one last thing, I want to shout out 2 thank yous. Thank you to everyone on the video versions because now we're officially at 1,000 subscribers on
Yes,
YouTube.
thank you.
So big thank you for that, and that's why you people join us for E3 because. Join the chat. It's going to be some fun. So thank you. That's been a goal of ours. Another goal is to get those iTunes reviews up. We're almost at 120. So I'm just rounding up. So please, we got to get to 200 written reviews. That would be great. That's our next milestone. And I want to thank everyone that tuned in to the X-Men Retrospective.
Yes.
Dylan, I'm sorry to report that it's officially now the biggest retro. It passed that MCU retro. So.
I had a realization just yesterday that Endgame is our biggest episode of all time by a pretty large margin, and the X-Men retro is huge, like you're just saying, the biggest retro. So what is it, fans? You don't like me, huh? The cast that I'm on are the ones you're listening to the most. What's up with that? Do you have a problem with me? Please, constructive criticism. I'll take it. If it's me that's making you listen to these because I'm not there, I'd love to know why.
Maybe it's all of your views, because since you're not there, you have to listen to them.
2,000 times.
Yeah, so you got to listen to 2,000
You
times.
were on the second biggest episode of all time, though, the Phase 4 predictions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so,
true.
you know.
But that's not the biggest episode of all time, is it?
You know, second place. It's great. But thank you
I'm
for
the
that.
king of the silver medal.
And thank you to Kyle, who's in Australia. You won't be on the podcast
Down
for a
under.
while. One time we'll let you know what he thought about that. And yeah, thanks, Kirkland. Obviously, you're going to be on the Tease's Tarantino retro next, but that was your first
That's right.
retro. So I just want to thank Kyle and Kirkland because Dylan was away, Tyler was away,
Yeah.
Jessica was busy making a baby. Well, figuring out
the
the
baby was made.
Popping it out.
Taylor
It
was
in the oven.
Taylor was supporting where WWE is right now. So, so everyone was really busy, and at one point the X-Men retro was really in flux. So Kirkland and Kyle really stepped out. We were recording 2 to 3 casts at times. So
You as well, Travis.
So-
Don't cut yourself
Yeah,
short.
no, massive thank
Yeah.
you to you guys because not only is that our biggest retro, but also a lot of reviews. I mean, we never know exactly what episode the reviews are coming from. But a lot of them seem like they're from the X-Men retro. Even new Patreon who wanted to get some of the X-Men episodes early.
yeah.
So amazing job, you guys. And I've listened to probably half the episodes now, and they're all a lot of fun. And there's definitely some antics like the rankings episode.
Oh, yeah.
with Kyle, the rate master. So definitely check those out if you haven't. They're a lot of fun.
we were getting memes made thanks to DH Hansi,
Yeah.
So it was a good time. So thank you very much for that. Please stay tuned for the Tarantino one. It's a good one. We filmed 2 episodes. Head over to Patreon, get that early, and then that should be dropping in a few weeks. It's gonna drop after E3 because the podcast feed is just gonna be banging with gamer
Just
content
banging,
right now.
banging.
So anything else you guys want to shout before we get into Dark Phoenix?
No, we've said it all.
I'm ready to finish this X-Men saga for what it's worth.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do a non-spoilers review. We're going to give you recommendations, some pros and cons, what we thought. And when I ask Kirkland, I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. He's going to say Geek versus Assemble. Don't worry, Dylan. I know when
I
I'm
get
throwing you.
Ziana.
One day it'll be me.
I know. I already know. I have it planned out.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Last time I heard someone do it, it was Briggs, and it was kind of scary.
I didn't like his because it took me off guard. I was just expecting him
Yeah.
to speak like a normal person. And he's like, "Hey, Rose," and I was like, my ears weren't prepared for that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Rest in peace.
So I will say 3, 2, 1, Geek versus Assemble, and that's when, or no, I'll say 3, 2, 1. Kirkland
yeah.
will say Geek versus Assemble, and that's when we jump into spoilers, so you'll know.
Very cool.
Who wants to start us off with the Dark Phoenix 2019, the closing chapter of the Fox X-Men movies?
I'll start off because you guys are the X-Men boys, and I better just get my thoughts out of the way.
X-Boys.
The X-Boys, yeah. So because I wasn't on any of the retros, I guess my quick history with X-Men, I don't think I've seen the first X-Men, X1. I've seen probably half of X2, and then I've
Nice.
seen all the other ones after that. And there's definitely some misses in there, but there's also a lot of hits. I've had a lot of fun with the X-Men movies over the years. X3, you guys are kind of trashed on it, and it's like got such a special place in my heart. So I all the criticism's fair, and I haven't watched it in years, and maybe I'd feel the same way, but I love that movie so much.
Just
and
don't watch it then.
Yeah.
Keep it in your nice nostalgia mind.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, I'm definitely an X-Men fan. Now, obviously, we're coming off of an interesting timeline. Like Apocalypse came out, I don't know, a year or 2 ago.
Yeah,
and
2 years now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't awful. It definitely had some problems, but it just wasn't as good as Days of Future Past or even First Class for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously, just this movie getting delayed and then delayed again, and
Twice.
then New Mutants just getting kicked back like 300 years, and then it get delayed again. Like it's just there's been a lot of red flags before this movie came
Yeah.
out. So I think I went in with, I mean, even the trailers like gave away a lot, and then even I had some stuff spoiled, like what actually, like some of the stuff in the trailers that I'm not going to say now, but definitely some things spoiled before.
Well, because someone asked the director, like, "Oh, that looks like that character dies in the trailer." He goes, "Yeah, that character's
Yeah.
dead." And you go, "Oh, that's how you promote a movie."
Yeah. Like there's definitely a lack of tact when it came to the marketing department on this movie. And I mean a lot of this movie in general. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
know
yeah.
I went in with pretty low
Oh yeah.
expectations, and I guess it really fit those expectations. This movie is overall pretty disappointing. I think the music, the soundtrack's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
So
forgot it
good.
was Zimmer until like the last 5 minutes. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why this music is so
I didn't
good.
realize till the credits, but I was like, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense. That was excellent.
Yeah, it really does stand out, like different characters' themes, and even just like in the background of scenes. He's just such a great composer.
Mhm.
He just has like really dynamic, interesting music that really just, I mean, tons of emotion, right, that he can convey. So it really helps build up scenes that maybe the dialogue was lacking, but the music can help kind of supplement some of those feelings that you
Yeah.
lose. And then I thought the action and CG, the two going together, was actually pretty good
Mhm.
for the most part in this movie. There's a lot of crazy stuff all over the place, and it really worked for me for the most part. There's a lot of action, too much for me personally, but everything I thought looked good at least. So that's good considering that, they potentially reshot the whole ending sequence and who knows what else. So I don't know what kind of time frame they had on reshooting stuff and re-editing, but honestly to me it all looked really good. However, my list of pros kind of runs out there. Like the biggest problem this movie has is the dialogue. I think between Jean Grey and Professor Xavier, like they have some good stuff between the two of them. But honestly, other than that, there's really not much to look in on. Like it's just some of the most cookie cutter basic dialogue. And for me, the most heartbreaking part of that is with Magneto, with Fassbender's Magneto, because he's done so good with that character. He's really just brought so much layers of emotion, right? And we saw that was it in First Class or like I guess in both of them, really.
Well, he's been in 3 now.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past, First Class. Apocalypse is when his family bit the dust.
Yeah, and so even in Apocalypse, which was a pretty a letdown of a movie in some ways.
Standout,
yeah, and that scene with his family was so well done.
Oh yeah,
because he just has such a, you can tell he cares about that character and he has fun with the role. Like those things are really really obvious on screen. However, there's just nothing to work with here. Like the script for every single line that Magneto has is awful or incredibly boring or bland or just a combination of all three. And it just, for me, that's like the most heartbreaking thing because he, like Xavier, yeah, it's not the best movie for him either. It's probably his worst movie for McAvoy's Xavier, but at least there's some salvageable moments. Whereas Magneto, I can't think of a single scene that he was good in, and it's not Fassbender's fault. Whereas in some movies recently, like Assassin's Creed and Alien Covenant, like I was poking fun at Fassbender and saying like, okay, I think acting wise, like he's not doing it for me. And yeah, I mean, there's always things like the directing, the editing, the script, like it's not never just the actor's fault. There's always multiple things at play. But in this movie, it is like no way Fassbender's fault. It's definitely just the script. There's no content there for him to play with.
He has cool action stuff. I'll say that. There's some fun stuff they do in Magneto.
I like the way he uses his powers in this movie.
Yeah, but that's all I can give you.
Yeah,
yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying with like the action scenes and how they're well done for the most part, and it all works. It just sucks that everything he says just makes me roll my eyes, especially from a character who's supposed to be so intense and has been so successful and like consistent throughout these movies as well.
Yeah. When we get to spoilers, I got 2 scenes I can show that maybe like they're not like his best in the series, but something that was like salvageable. But I agree with you.
And I bring up Magneto just because that's the biggest example. But even Beast, he's kind of the same boat where he doesn't really have any lines that are interesting or worthy of note. And there's other characters as well. Like it's just across the board. The dialogue is really, really, really a letdown. And I don't know, maybe there's some bias because as Travis mentioned, we're doing the Tarantino retro. and when we did a retro of Inglourious Basterds just 2 days ago, and that movie has amazing dialogue from start to finish. So maybe there's like a comparison here where it's like I just watched some of the best dialogue on screen and then I'm seeing this like a couple days later. I don't know if that has something to do with it. Perhaps it did, but overall this movie is a major letdown. It sucks that this is the end of these X-Men and these characters because even though a lot of them were introduced just one movie ago, there has been a few that were around for quite a bit longer and they were really good. They're like Days of Future Past is a fantastic movie and I really like First Class as well. So yeah, I'm disappointed, but it kind of met my expectations, so I'm not too let down in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. All right, I'll go unless you're deep inhale there.
Go ahead.
Okay. Kind of riding the same wavelength as Dylan going into this one. Probably just due to like the setbacks that this movie had and a lot of red flags going like just before it even came out, right? Which doesn't do well at any point. But so I had super low expectations in this. I was like, oh man, I have to go see this. Like it was like, oh man, I was on the retro, so I'm pretty committed.
You
right?
should be hyped to go into the final movie.
It wasn't really the case there, but so having like that at the back of my mind where I was just so like not looking forward to it. There was actually like some bright patches that I can take from it. Like I was telling Travis before the cast, Sophie Turner, like her overall, like the acting wise, I really appreciated her. Yeah, like there's some emotional scenes, kind of. It's basically her movie, but I feel like the first act, I really liked what was happening with that character. Like when she's first kind of like freaking out, can't really control herself. Like I don't know, she's just selling it really well. Like those scenes that she has with Scott and stuff. I really like that stuff, but totally the dialogue was so brutal sometimes. Like, I liked her acting and what she was doing, but like for the stuff she was saying, it was just like, oh man, like so like corny and cheesy, and like you said, just cookie cutter, like just so basic. And for a movie of this like AAA title, you expect so much more, but unfortunately, that's not what we got. And like I already said, I had such low expectations, so it's not like I was expecting that Inglourious Bastards dialogue. And it's funny going from, like you mentioned, going from a movie like that to this. It's just like, oh man. But yeah, like the bright patches that I was thinking of, like a lot of it was in like probably like the first half of the movie. Like I guess I'll save that for spoilers and stuff. But
right away, that moment when
Geek versus Hamlet, we're going. But no, like visually, I liked a lot of like the CGI and like choreography that they had for like the fight scenes. I do agree with you. Like it was getting a little bit too much action for me, but overall, like before, I guess I would say like before it got to near the end when there was just so much action going on, I really appreciate like the fights that they had, or just like seeing them use their powers. The special effects just looked really neat. They kind of changed like the band theme that they had for Nightcrawler compared to what they had in like the original. I think I prefer the original more just because I probably grew up with that, but like this one just seems more colorful. Like when he bamfs, it just leaves this kind of like pastel looking color, whereas before it's just like a really dark, I don't know how to explain it, but
I can't recall the look of that.
Okay, but yeah, just stuff like that, and just seeing them use their powers. I like visually, it was good looking, but when you go down to like the bare bones of like what makes a good movie, it is that dialogue and what carries it, and it is big letdown, especially seeing like Fassbender on the screen, one of my favorite actors, and I loved seeing him on there, but
he was jacked in this movie.
He was,
the biggest he's ever been in. I don't know what he's doing.
He looked really good. He was on his island. He's just getting jacked, man.
Yeah,
lifting metal all day.
Married life is treating him well. So.
Yeah, but yeah, like I'm kind of like Dylan. Like I'm kind of scratching my head for some pros in here. Yeah, it's tough though.
It's okay, you know. It happens.
Yeah, it's so. I don't know, if you don't have really high expectations going into this, because following the path that Apocalypse left, like that was kind of a disappointing movie as well. So it's kind of on that same path, I guess. But
it's like because we just did the retro. Go back and check it out. It's like X3 and Origins back to back. They love doing like not good movies back to back, like the 1, 2.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, this one's Apocalypse, not the Grace, and then we hit you with Origin. This was like, oh. X3 not the Grace, we hit it with the Origin. This is the same thing. Oh, Apocalypse, it's just fine. Then they come with Dark Phoenix and just like not.
Yeah, exactly. And like it is unfortunate that it is how they ended off like this whole series, the whole X-Men, from what we've known since like 2000s, I guess, right? In that same one. So it is kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, it's like, well, at least it's kind of over now, right? We can we can see what Disney does with X-Men.
At least we got Logan.
Yeah, at least we got Logan. Yeah, that's the.
Well, I guess I forgot to say this too, but would you recommend it for fans? Who would you recommend it for?
It's
or would you say it's not worth to go in theaters?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I saw it. I know viewers might not know this, but on the Extreme Theater on the West Side, and they just recently redid their audio. At certain points, I thought it was like too loud. I was like getting nervous. Like when there's just some like intense things going on, I could like feel it like in my chest. I'm like, man, I feel like someone's gonna go complain with how loud this is, because this is insane.
You're getting old, man.
They redid just the audio there. Just
What's that, sir?
They redid just the speakers.
No, they have like speakers on the roof now.
Oh, snap.
Like literally like above you, so it's like on the sides and above, so you're just in a fucking subwoofer. Like it's insane.
An audio IMAX.
Yeah,
don't go in there. That's the woofer.
Yeah.
In every theater or just one or two?
It's just the Extreme Theater, I believe.
But I mean, like in every single.
No, like there's
in the Extreme
Theater.
Like
you and Taylor have not learned this in all years of movie. There's one theater screen in that called the movie theater is the Extreme.
Yeah.
But there's technically one screen that is the Extreme.
Okay, well if you say the Extreme Theater,
I'm sorry.
The name
I
of the
apologize.
Place,
the Extreme Screen.
I know. He did say screen, and you said, "Oh, so all the screens."
That's fair, but I don't know if you said. I don't know if you actually did say Extreme Screen.
Run it back.
Play it back later. Yeah.
I believe you. And I don't actually know why I'm asking. It really doesn't matter, and the viewers don't care. But that's
right.
That's what you get.
That's what you get.
I love that theater.
It's a mess, just like how this movie was. But yeah. Overall, I'd say, if you're a diehard fan and you followed like if you watched all of our retros, definitely go see it in theaters, right? But yeah, for the average person, I'd say just wait for it to be on Netflix or digital
I
streaming.
could say a cheap Tuesday just because of the sound and the effects. Like it's fun to see. So I don't know. I could say cheap Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Feel like I'm doing someone a disservice.
Yeah. You don't want to rub them up the wrong tree, right?
I don't want to rub someone up the wrong tree. No.
Yeah. I'll go into more of the specifics on the spoilers. So I'll just let Travis take the
helm.
I guess I can start so I don't forget my recommendation. I'm the difference of Dylan. I think if you're a hardcore Marvel X-Men fan, you gotta go see it. But even Taylor, who's not, I'm like, I don't know if I can recommend this for a cheap Tuesday. It's just. So here's the best way I could, and you could go back. That's a great thing. I love that we've been doing this podcast for years because now, before you have to just believe me. Now there's record proof. So ever since this movie was announced, I said this is a bad idea all around. It was, and we'll get into this in spoilers, but introducing Jean Grey the way you did in Apocalypse, and with her having so little screen time, and then being like, we're gonna do Phoenix next, was always a bad idea. So it was my kind of the three strikes I had was one, Apocalypse, not the greatest, and I'm someone that still likes that movie. Not as much as when I first saw it, but I still like it. There's still merit in it. So as one, that's not the greatest movie. Two, you have Simon Kinberg, who's never directed a movie at all. He's written some X-Men, he's produced, but he's never directed a movie. So we're gonna start with that. That's great. And then, like I said, the third one was we're gonna jump into Jean's storyline right away, and we've already done this. The best way I could describe this movie is a blind date. Now, the thing is, and let's say you don't like blind dates. So those three strikes were what I told you, and that's where you're like, I'm a little nervous. I don't want to go on this blind date and everything like that. And then you go on the date, and you're like, oh, this is actually going well. This is fine, everything like that. And then midway through the date, she's like, oh, I'm in this cult, or like, I hate dogs. And you're like, oh, it really took it downhill. And that's what this movie was, where I was not looking forward to going into for many, many reasons. The reviews had come out. People were kind of bashing, saying, okay. And I'd already not had much hype for all those reasons. And then for the first 30, 45 minutes, I was really enjoying it. I was liking the characters. I was liking some of their motivations. Other than some spoiler continuity issues we'll get into, I was enjoying it a lot. And it felt this, when they did say, oh, it's Jean's movie, it did kind of feel like that. It felt like it was like a nice little character piece on her, even though, and I felt like it was good, but it was as good as it could get because of the setup before. I still think, oh, this would have been the perfect Phoenix movie. No, it was good. And it had some great moments in it. And it's not like there's one big twist or one thing that changes and it's like whoosh, like this changed the whole movie. It just slowly started to get worse and worse and worse. And I think I'm a little on the minority. I like kind of half the action. There's some action scenes I like, and I can't give context without spoiling. The third act, I think, is just a mess, and I hate it. There's so many characters that are flip-flopping with character motivations going on. I guess for a pro, I would say that lots of people are saying, oh, Fassbender's great in this movie. I agree, but I also think other people are good too. I think this is Jennifer Lawrence's best performance since First Class.
I agree.
I think there's a reason for that, which we'll get into, but I really liked what they had going on with her and her performance. Nicholas Hoult, who I feel bad because I've been trashing the past few weeks. Not trashing, just like I really don't want him as Batman. He's a good actor. I want him to land on his feet. I want him to be the Riddler, and I think there's some scenes in here that prove that, even though, like Dylan and Kirk were talking about, writing is not great. Character development isn't that great, but I think he did a good job. There's one scene in particular, and I really liked they were doing something different. They had James McAvoy play a different type of Charles Xavier, but they didn't really dive into that, and that's where it's kind of like X3, where X3 had all these things of, you had the Cure, you had Magneto, you had Jean, you had Dark Phoenix, you had Scott going on a bike somewhere. You had all this stuff, and it was all about like
the bike.
It was all about random things. All the stuff in this movie is centering around Jean, but it's still a bunch of different storylines breaking off from that are all in there by themselves like good ideas, but they don't take a deep dive into any of them, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's what really sucks is they say it's Jean's movie, and it kind of is, but it's really not, because there's lots where there's so many other characters talking about this or that, and the villain in this movie is not good. It's really lame. It's really like 2000s bad comic book movie stuff, and it's really disappointing because that woman has an Oscar on her shelf and she's a great actress. So
I totally forgot to mention the presence of a villain at all, so there you go.
I think they forgot, and that's then they're like, oh, we got to put that in the movie, and that's what it feels like. Like I said, I think the actors tried their best. I don't think there's any really bad acting in here. They tried their best, but it was just like I said, it just went downhill really quickly, and it's very disappointing that this is the end. Luckily we got Logan, Days of Future Past. I kind of count that as my ending, but it's just a shame. And even them, don't trash it. People go, oh, of course it's another X-Men movie by Fox. They gave us great movies. They gave us movies that I think, you look at Logan and Deadpool, Disney would have never done anything like that, you know? So they really have created one of the greatest franchises of all time. Unfortunately, they got a lot of black marks on it, and this is one of them. And Kirkland, I'll ask you, because I made you predict this on the rankings episode, where would you actually rank this in the non-spoilers for the movies?
I think jeez. Because while I was watching it, I was kind of comparing it to Apocalypse because I felt like it was kind of on those same lines. Like in the like I already mentioned, like the first, and also like Travis mentioned, like the movie starts pretty good, but it just starts getting worse and worse. So like on that first act, I was like, man, like this is kind of promising.
Oh yeah, what are people talking about?
Yeah,
this is going to be a good
movie.
movie.
Exactly. I had those thoughts, and I'm like, okay, this is looking pretty good. But then it just started going downhill. And then when I think of like Apocalypse, because like that's really what I'm comparing it to.
Yeah,
it's definitely better than like Origins.
Oh yeah, Origins.
I think I personally like it more than Last Stand because Last Stand was just so much random shit going on.
Really?
But for like Apocalypse though, thinking of like iconic scenes like the death scene of Fassbender's family, like that's just such a like well done scene, and like how he sold it emotionally, like. It definitely, I think, like raised, like just from that one scene alone, raised it above this movie for me. So
yeah.
I
couldn't name you icon. Like we're not gonna spoil it, name a scene, but I couldn't name you a scene where I walked away being, oh, there was one scene in this movie that was great. You know?
Yeah, I could say like kind of like a sequence of kind of what happens.
Yeah.
Like that's my preferred for the movie, but. Totally, like I could not think of an iconic scene like kind of with Apocalypse, how it had the Fassbender scene, and then for me personally, I might be in a minority, but I really like the Quicksilver scene in the mansion.
Of course,
so
yeah,
like some iconic scenes right from that, whereas this one I can't. So I definitely put it probably. I can't remember specifically what my list looked
Your
like.
bottom
but
three was Origins, X3, and then Apocalypse.
Yeah,
I think that was like across the board. Wasn't that all three of you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, and I think you predicted it was going to be better than Apocalypse, but
so
I
it's
think you did,
definitely worse than Apocalypse on my list, and I feel like it's almost tied with Last Stand, because Last Stand, when I originally watched it, might be a Dylan effect. Like I was like, oh, this is a pretty cool movie, but then when we rewatched it, it's just like, man, I can't. Like I must have just been young and dumb or something. Just a lot like big mess going on. So I'd put it somewhere there.
Okay, yeah. So if you're a diehard,
you didn't answer the question, Kirkland. Give a definitive answer.
Didn't I say like tied with The Last Stand, or is that not allowed?
That's a cop out. You got to pick one.
Okay, I'll put it.
It's important.
Looking back, especially with the retro,
I
put it above Last Stand.
Okay, I was gonna say, someone comes to you and says you have to watch one of these movies. Which one would you pick? That's always the way I say it.
I'd say this one.
Okay, so this is where
because of the action scenes and stuff, probably.
This is where I'll take over and say, and this is why if you're diehard, it might spoil the score. I think it's almost identical to X3, but I would put it below X3 because even though I love Fassbender, Dylan kind of alluded, his Magneto is not the greatest in this movie. In X3, you still got Hugh Jackman, and Hugh Jackman's fucking great.
That is fair.
And that's where X3, I think, has more rewatchability as, like, it's bad good, where this is not a bad good. It's just that depressing where it's like, we're doing this, and we're doing this, and like, it's like, they feel like this is going to be big and epic, but it's like, no, it's not. It's just like, it's not fan-forstic, where it does get badly, but it's not like a disaster. It's just like, oh, this is a boring choice, and oh, this character's doing this, and like, oh, like...
That is fair points, but I also feel like what they did with Last Stand, it was just they try to throw so much in like in the same movie, whereas this one they had some, like, especially with like the villains that they had in there, it wasn't a big, I don't know what you'd call it, kind of like when you go to 7-Eleven, you get a Slurp and you get all the flavors. Like I feel like that's what Last Stand was. And it was just big mess, right? Like, oh, like I kind of regret that. It just tastes like swamp.
But this to me is like you went to go get one flavor and it was all watery and mushy. And you're like, oh, like maybe I should have took that swamp water. At least it's a full slush. Like this is like the
maybe that's like maybe that's like a personal thing though. Maybe some people do like or prefer that watery thing as opposed to the swamp water. Maybe you prefer the swamp water and I prefer the water.
Swamp water or a mix of.
I've had that similar situation where I went there to get a certain flavor and they only had like just all these random fruity flavors and stuff.
Yeah, ones you never heard of.
And you
like
know what
Banana
I did?
X Explosion.
You know what I did? I just fucking left. Okay, I just left.
No, you brought up some good points having Hugh Jackman in there, but I don't know, like when I compare like the Magnetos, for example, Magneto in Last Stand, I really wasn't a fan of his.
Oh, like, yeah, fair enough. But I feel like I can, when we get into spoilers, he's almost like Last Stand again, where he's doing stuff that doesn't make sense.
My vote is easily Last Stand, considering last time I saw it was probably
well, maybe
6 or
let's get
7
into
years ago.
spoilers because I feel like we're starting to drift.
We're
into
stalling.
Yeah,
we're stalling
for
the
sure.
Kirkland.
So
All right.
so this is it. 3, 2, 1.
Geek versus Symbol.
So let's get into spoilers. So my whole thing is let's start with Magneto because Dylan's brought up everything like that. To me, he's always been the MVP since they took over. I legitimately think because I don't know if we'll do the logistics of it, but I want to because next year is 2020. I want to do a Golden Geeks of the past decade, and I think he's automatic for one movie of like a Golden Geek film of like the past 10 years, right? From 2010 to 2019.
I can see
it's such a hard question to answer because if I have to take this movie into account, then that sucks for him.
No, we pick one specific movie.
Just one movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. We're going Days of Future Past or first. Yeah, we're not saying like as a career.
Well, once again, that's tricky though because it's an ensemble cast. So I don't know if I could I don't know if he has like enough content in any particular movie.
But for one as like when we have our best villain category, I mean.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he's worthy. I think he is, but that's what we'll talk about maybe
That's a
in
big
December.
discussion, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can just
That's
so
its own
confidently
cast.
say, like you've clearly thought about it
yeah.
already, whereas I haven't thought about the whole decade, so I can't just say anybody anywhere.
I think you got Days of Future Past and First Class, one of those. I think he is these past few years, and I think next to Ledger's Joker, we got Thanos up there, and for me, Killmonger, Loki. I think he's easily in that top 5, top 3 is great villains. He's surpassed Ian. My problem is, so like in X3 talked about how he's kind of not himself. I was liking how they introduced him I feel like he's going to be like this like peaceful, like...
Well, he's even talking about that when Jean goes up to him. It's just like, I don't kill anymore, right?
But that's the problem where I'm like, this is cool. It's like, because every X-Men, we always do get a different Magneto. I'm like, we're going to get like this peaceful Magneto. And we've seen him, of course, fight in the trailers. But I thought it was going to be, his back's against the wall and he has to fight. And so he gives this whole speech. Yeah, okay, we said spoilers, right? So this is your last chance. He gives this whole speech to Jean, which I liked. I think... I don't know if Dylan's fan of the dialogue. I think some of the dialogue's pretty generic, and they're just like, I stopped killing, and it helped. And it's like, okay. So it's just like what we kind of heard, like Dexter said this before, things like that.
Yeah, no, it just feels like a comic movie from like early 2000s or something, right? Where it's just, they just have like generic action movie lines.
Yeah, but either way, I like the way he's acting it, the way he's portraying it. It does seem that he has evolved, and he's not that man anymore. And then what happens is, 5-10 minutes later, B shows up. He killed Raven. And then Hank just drops a line like, I need you to find her. Well, if I find her, I'll kill her. And then Hank goes, I know. So literally we had this whole big speech and moment where he's like, I'm not that man anymore. And because he literally says, killing didn't help me, so I stopped. And then what does he do 5 minutes later? Well, we got to kill Jean, don't we? So to me, he has that same thing at 3 where it's like, they set up this Magneto.
What is he like at the end of Apocalypse? Like what kind of Magneto do we get there?
He is, so the whole thing is he has his family, right? He retired. His family gets killed, and that's where he's like, fuck the humans. So it goes with Apocalypse. And at the end, he turns into a hero of Apocalypse, kind of has the upper hand, and he takes these metal and he throws a big giant X, and he says something like, I need to choose my family. So it ended with, and he was at the mansion with Charles being like, like good luck and everything. So he had already turned like fully good guy, and we went back to like, you can argue he's like a good guy trying to do good, but that's what I hate, that he turned that corner. And I thought they should have never, and we'll get into, they should have never done the whole X-Men versus X-Men thing, because that was ended up being pointless. It should have been them all as a unit together. They could have their differences, but all as a unit trying to take Jean down. So I hated that he was this new Magneto, and then 5 minutes later, no, they just killed that.
Well,
there's no point to it. Don't have him say any of that stuff about I don't kill anymore.
Yeah, well, like the two teams that were trying to get Jean, I feel like it was the angry team, which was like Hank and Magneto, and then it was like the people that were trying to help her, right?
Yeah.
So like that, yeah. I would have agreed I would have appreciated it more if they could have just, we need to help Jean. We need to like stop her, obviously, from harming anyone else. But it was just Magneto was totally flipped a switch, just full angry.
And then and that's the problem again, because then he flips the switch at the end.
Yeah.
She's like, your protector, I've had a change of heart. Why then? Why? Like it just
It's definitely writing flaws.
Like why did they even?
It could have been simply fixed if they had that situation where he's up against Phoenix, and maybe he like has the upper hand, and he has the opportunity to kill her, but then he doesn't, because he just said earlier
good.
like, that's not the kind of person I am, I don't want to do this,
right?
And
like
then at that point she can like kind of break out, and then you can have the thing where she's still trucking around,
like he's trying to be like, I could be that old Magneto, I could kill her, and then he's like, no, what's the point? But he just like, for some reason Scott has this line of just like, that's what a Raven would have wanted, and it's just like, really, that's like your whole thing that changes Beast and Magneto and all of them. Like it's so frustrating that they change their motivations like 3 times within one movie, and it's like, what are we doing here? I don't get it. Don't get it.
Yeah, it seemed very unnecessary, and I don't know. I would say that fight scene as well, like between the two X teams, is probably my least favorite of the action.
I agree.
I did think it was.
No, I
thought it was fine, but you have like multiple cuts of Cyclops shooting Magneto and him holding like a piece of metal. And it keeps cutting back to it though. It shows it like 4 times.
And Xavier holds that girl there for quite a while.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's a weird scene, and then you have like that Medusa guy with like the whip hair. We've never met him before, but he reminded me of fucking Grip Hook or whatever. What's the Suicide Squad?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, oh no, that was DC. It can't be the same guy.
I know he had like the same style and everything.
I'm gonna see who played him because you never know. You never know.
He's the kind of guy to get in the superhero fan draft.
All right, I'm in X-Men now. Here we go. And it's like, oh, I'm playing this guy. But
no, I totally agree with what you're saying on Magneto there. Right, it just makes him feel like a flat character. Like even though he technically has like I don't know, a dynamic story there, it's just so poorly written and so rushed. And that's kind of the problem with a lot of the motivation, like Dark Phoenix across the board, Jean Grey, I should say. Like her story is pretty good, but I just think like a lot of it feels rushed, right? Where there's like increments of like how much she's turned kind of evil and how much she's not. And I don't know. I think pacing issues are all over the place. But yeah, as for Magneto, like it sucks, but I don't think I have like anything else to say on him. Like there isn't really any scenes. I guess the one thing that I really disliked as well was his ending scene with Xavier, where he like goes to sit down and play chess, because that could have been such a nice scene, but to me the dialogue was just so lame that it didn't have like a satisfying like button on the end of it.
No, I totally agree. It's like it could have been such
I love the idea of that scene.
Such a beautiful execution, especially like they've done that back with I'm blanking. Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. Yeah, every movie, like they always have that. So especially if they're ending the series with those two guys, like those two characters, not necessarily the actors, but they've been a part of this whole thing. Like I feel like they just tripped on the delivery though, and it was definitely sketchy dialogue.
It is, and it has to do with what Travis is saying too, where he's like gonna kill Phoenix and he's evil again, but then he's just not. And in that scene, they're just like pals, right? It just none of it really fit together well, and you have to wonder if there's like more scenes that were meant to be in the middle of those two that either got cut or just didn't work, reshoots. Who knows what happened there, but overall it just made Magneto a really lame character.
Yeah, it might not be the greatest, but I like that that's where the movie ends if this is the last one. So it's a thing where I don't mind it, and I do like him being like, oh, well, you know, you helped me out once in life, and kind of calling back to even their meeting, not even the McKellen's Stewart one. So I didn't mind it. The scenes I liked of it is, the dialogue wasn't the greatest, but like I said, I liked the scene with him and Jean. I thought at that point, like, oh, we're getting a different type of Magneto. I liked that scene him and Hank had by the campfire of talking about Raven, how they both like loved her differently, and even the scene where he finds out that Mystique is dead. Fassbender,
sold it.
I think he's the master Hollywood of like selling that someone important has died to him, and you just feel it because he just walks away and he's just holding that airplane. And any other movie would have him like throw something or be really mad, but it's just like, and that's where no shot at Endgame, but like you look at Hulk, he just throws a bench, right? Like it's just a subtle moment. He's just standing there, the camera's on him for a while, tears dropping, and then he turns around and he's like psycho killer. But those are like the scenes I liked of his. But that for me, I don't understand why we took the detour into Civil War route, because also as Beast, I get that he's angry. I did not buy that he would just want to flat out murder Raven or murder Jean. In my opinion, it just has never been set up, because his anger.
And he's not that kind of character.
No, and his anger in this movie is at Charles. It's not at her. So if anything, it's like I wouldn't buy it either. But if he's like, oh, I'm going to try to kill Charles, then okay, maybe I guess. But it's not like I felt like he perfectly understood that Jean can't control us, and it was Charles' kind of fault. But then he just resorts to straight up murder. Like, I don't.
Do you guys feel like he got a power upgrade in this movie? Like, I don't know. I haven't watched Apocalypse recently.
I don't think so.
I think he just didn't have many action scenes. That's the problem in any of them. Yeah. So it's just like we've never seen what he could do.
Like he was just fucking whipping aliens around.
Also, you got to think about like he was angry, right? So I feel like you get just more adrenaline if you're angry, especially if you're a beast.
But does that power him up like in the comics? And
no. But it's just it powers you up as a human, right?
Yeah.
Adrenaline.
Anyway. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Since do we have anything else to say on Fassbender, really?
No, I was talking about Beast.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. That's perfect.
Beast
I'm in the right,
and
I'm in the right class.
Civil War thing,
going to Hank, if you tuned into our retro, I'm a notorious hater of this guy. What's his name again?
Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, like not the actor, not the actor in general, just like what he does with this character. I think this is... I know it, like he's really bad in this, but I feel like this is where I like him kind of the most, honestly. Because
See, I don't think he's really bad. Or you mean the character's really bad?
well, like what they did with him.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of.
I'm making sure he wasn't taking shots at Holt again. You
know?
No.
I
saw him recently in the Tolkien movie. He plays Tolkien, and I'm a big fan of his now.
Is it a good movie?
He's good. Yeah, It's a really good movie. I was
check it out.
I thought it would be just kind of like some bland biopic, but it actually was very emotional and well done.
Awesome. I'm excited to check it out. But I also feel just like the look in general, like this is definitely the best he's looked. Like I remember I was just shitting on the way he was talking. Like he just looked like he was so like plasticky. It was almost like he just had so much Botox. Like when he would talk, you like couldn't even see his lips move. Whereas this one, it seemed like they just did like more of like makeup as opposed to like him wearing like a big mask. So I don't know. Like for me, it looked a lot better when he was talking in like the beast form. So like that was a plus on that. Or sorry, that was a plus on that character. But I feel like once we got into those later acts, it's just following the theme of this movie. Like once we got later on, it just was going to shit. Like when he was, obviously everyone's pretty choked up about Raven. I feel like Charles would almost be like the most choked up about anyone because like he's known her the longest. But like Beast just full on just like, this is your fault. I'm so mad at you.
And I like that scene. I like that scene
in the
kitchen. Yeah, because I like that he's like, oh, this is where I first met her.
Yeah, it was a fun callback.
Yeah, and I think that's where Holt showed he was a good actor. Like it wasn't the same thing. He was doing the angry yelling cry, kind of like the reverse of Fassbender, but it didn't come off as cheesy in that moment. I love that he just like smashes the bottle and everything. So I liked him in that moment. I really liked too when Raven did die. I think he sold that really well, which impressive for those two because they are an ex-couple. So you got to be that. Yeah, you get in real life. So to be that up close, so you know, that's
ex-couple,
good
pun intended.
Ex-couple.
Yeah. So,
but me personally, I liked the setup of the scene and I liked the acting of it, but the dialogue, it just struck down from me. Like I didn't like just what he was saying to Charles, like this is all your fault. Like it just didn't make sense, especially like he's a pretty smart guy. I don't know, maybe you can argue that it's just the emotions blinding him, right? But I don't know, for me personally, I just wasn't a big fan.
You don't think that it makes sense for him to think it's Xavier's fault?
No.
Well, this is the problem that they've muddled it because Apocalypse ended with her destroying Apocalypse. Say that 3 times fast. Apocalypse by her starting to turn into the Phoenix Force, and like that was supposed to, and that's not the way it happens in comics, but sort of hinting that okay, she has something inside her. So to me, if they just went with that and it was Charles locked this power away and it came out, then to me I'd be like it's fully his fault. But this wasn't his fault. I guess maybe the space mission, but he didn't know there was going to be they just thought it was solar shit. He didn't know it was going to be some alien life force that was going to take her over. So that's why I wish they didn't even do any of that. But that's why they had to introduce the villain, which we'll get into. But so that's what I mean. Like, I think he has like 50% it's his fault, but really it's like if Jean didn't get attached by this alien force, she probably would have been fine and her life would have continued. So that's why I don't get why classic X-Men, they just like, they literally, it's so sloppy. They literally did something to end their movie, and they just ignored it. They just ignored it.
I didn't take it that Beast was upset that, or he wasn't blaming Xavier for like giving her that power. He was blaming him for like bottling up those emotional things that like at some point would come out and then just make her really angry.
Yeah, but was that even like why she killed Raven? I feel like it was 100% because she absorbed all that power though from space. Like bottling up those memories, obviously, like it kind of had an effect with just the amount of power that she had from like the Dark Phoenix Force. Like, would you even call like? Do they even mention that it's the Phoenix that she absorbs, or she already had the Phoenix in her?
I don't know if they.
Well, they did say the alien lady said it was attracted to her. And that's why it was there, is because it was like,
and she was powerful enough to hold
her.
It too.
So clearly she had something inside of her already, like a part of it. Who knows how much, but I mean that was probably what was giving her power in the first place. That made her like a mutant. But she clearly obviously couldn't turn into a flaming bird.
I don't think so in this movie. I think they're trying to say that she's just a regular mutant that got this power, and it was just attracted her because she's a powerful mutant. I'm not saying you and I are right because they don't explain it all, and that's my other.
No, they do it. They just explain it very, very like quickly, right?
Oh yeah, even Volk who that's her name. Volk is she does like the whole Ego from Guardians 2 explanation to like this is the plan and we can make a better world, and it's just like oh boy, here we go. And the other thing is because I know we're getting done the villain when you're talking about Hank's motivations and with Jean, and we're not clear if like this would have made her become psycho or whatnot. For me, it didn't. But the other thing is, I felt, you want to say whatever you want about X3, and I don't think it's done the greatest, but you can see when she's Jean and you see when she's Phoenix. There's times in this movie I didn't feel that I could understand if Jean, like it felt like it was Jean enjoying this power, not the Phoenix taking over. That was a big con for me, because sometimes it did feel like full on Phoenix, I'm evil, but then other times she's talking as Jean and then she just slowly turns into evil, and they could try and say, oh, we're trying to go for the subtle approach. I think it just was wishy-washy. Like, I don't understand. Is she enjoying this? Is she not? I felt the whole relationship with the Phoenix was really muddled, and I didn't understand a lot of it. I didn't understand, who is this character that I'm watching? Is she, like, when she makes Charles walk up those stairs, like, I don't know, is this Jean just feeling evil? Is this the Phoenix? I know.
I took that as full Phoenix.
I know, but it's just strange.
The line was very like gray, I guess.
Yeah, I just feel that when they're I don't know. I don't think they did a good job of portraying the Phoenix powers.
Yeah, like
go ahead.
I feel like a lot of it's kind of left for interpretation, because I feel like like there's certain moments. I mean, it's like there are moments that it is very obvious, like when she goes full, I don't know what you'd call it, just like glowy veins, like her eyes get all intense and she's just all pissed. Like, that's obviously the Phoenix. But then there's scenes like when she goes to meet her father, and like she's all friendly because she hasn't seen her dad for whatever, and then she's just looking at the images, and just her tone kind of changes, and the way she talks, it's just very like flat. It's like, why is there no photos of me? So like that, it's like, okay, I feel like she's the Phoenix right now, but it's really not clear like whatsoever, because she still looks the same, whereas like you mentioned in Last Stand, she totally looks different when she's the Phoenix. Like, her eyes go like basically black, and she just looks all intense.
And like, I understood that when she's bringing Charles up, that is the Phoenix. It's just I feel that the switches in between, and maybe that's what they're going for. It was very subtle. She can any second become Phoenix, but I don't think they didn't make the personalities too different. That was the problem. It still felt like Jean was talking through the Phoenix.
Yeah, I guess it was because
not done well.
I mean, I can't remember back to, like, is it in X2 that you get introduced to the Dark Phoenix?
Just at the very end, it's hinted at, because that
it's not the Dark Phoenix,
dead.
though. It's just the Phoenix.
Dead.
Or is there a difference?
So by the time I guess you're in X3, like, she's potentially had that Dark Phoenix in her for some time.
They take the approach that she's had that since a child, and they do the same thing where Charles blocked her memory and took stuff out and put some walls up, and she's had it with her. And maybe that's why they changed it to be like this alien force, but they still, that's what I mean. I don't know. They still insinuate that it's maybe with her, maybe not. But so in X3, it's been with her whole life, and it just woke up.
Yeah. I agree with what you said earlier, that it's like just kind of ambiguous. Like, you don't really know for sure. And that's kind of how I feel about the Beast thing as well. Like, maybe I'm just wrong, but I took that scene of why he's mad at Xavier like completely differently. And I think a way to fix that was like almost in this movie where you have that scene with Raven, which he's talking to Xavier about like what he's doing, like how he's risking their people in in favor of the humans. And I feel like if there's maybe a scene where Raven and Beast talk and she expresses her frustration with like that conversation with Beast, like maybe that would have like fully explained why he was mad at him.
Yeah,
in the kitchen.
She does just a tad, right?
Yeah,
when she's
it's
like,
really
oh,
minor.
He's not the same Charles he used to be, and then they cut away.
But like maybe maybe it's not entertaining for the viewer to just see that scene like spoken again, but obviously you can be creative with it. But if they just like, if she goes more in depth there, then maybe it gives more reason for Beast to just be mad at Xavier, and I mean, because that's not just the implication. The implication is that he's also down to just kill her, right? So it shows that there's
100%.
clearly a big shift has happened,
Yeah.
and we just kind of see like a quarter or maybe like half of it. So the ambiguity between like with Dark Phoenix and Jean Grey is also kind of with like Beast and his motivations, and I guess it's kind of
The
it's
whole
with
movie
Magneto,
almost,
yeah, right? It's
yeah.
just like all the characters.
Like the only people that don't have that is Cyclops and Storm, but like Scott is just, I love you, I'll do anything.
Yeah, he has a very simple story.
Yeah, and Storm is just there to do badass stuff.
Yeah, she just looks cool.
Yeah, and that's it. But
I am glad she has the voice though.
yeah,
like,
she kept her accent.
yeah.
You know. What was I gonna say? Damn
Sorry, I
it.
threw you off with the accent.
Don't remember.
No, I don't.
I guess
remember.
to just talk more on Phoenix, I pretty much agree with you guys. I like you said in your spoiler free section. Like, I think for the most part she does have like maybe not in the most part, but she does have a lot of really good lines in there, and there is like a development to it. It just kind of gets murky in the last like half of the movie or something like that. I don't know when exactly, but I don't know. There is like a progression to it where it's like taking more control of her, and it just maybe if they made that a little more clear, like when she's in it and when she's not, and like. I guess they kind of show like some of the triggers. Like one of them is like the campfire triggers it, and then one of them is like when she's in her dad's house and like there's no pictures of her, and it's I don't know. Those are like two very different things, and I don't know. Do you have any other examples off the top of your head of things that like turn her into it? Because near the end of the movie, it kind of just happens.
Well, I feel like it's when she thinks about like Charles kind of controlling her and like putting up those walls. Because I don't know, she feels like they're just like toning down her power. Where it's like, this is me, this is the way I should be.
Anytime police or military show up.
Right. Yeah. So those are very like
just
those
like
are very very different things that change like turn her into that mode. So maybe it is just like, oh, it's just she's losing control. Every once in a while she goes into it, but I don't know. Maybe if there's like a meaningful reason for it, that could be a little more interesting. But maybe that's hard to do if it's supposed to happen. Like that change is supposed to happen multiple times.
Well, and that's why it's a personal thing. But when you're saying, Mystique talking to Beast wouldn't have been that exciting to me. One of the things I liked the most was Dickhead Charles at the beginning. I liked seeing this new Charles of like they're on a roll. He's cocky, he's pompous, and later on he explains. I'm not a fan of this, but I'm doing it because I want us to survive. And I do love the line of, one bad thing and we can go back to where we were years ago. So I liked and Charles has always been kind of he's a very nice fatherly figure, but at times he's kind of a little douchey, especially in OG, like when the X-Men comics first started, he's an asshole, like more an asshole. He's gotten nicer over the years. So I liked that idea of just, he was more about the mission and like it was getting past him. And in this movie, they spend very little because the second Mystique dies, that storyline's done with. Like Beast carries on, but they have one convo when he yells at him and that's it. But I like that idea of, and that's the thing where to me, the tying of, I think they should have chose either to do the alien villains or to make the whole movie a problem with X-Men versus X-Men. Because to me, you don't do the Civil War stuff if you got alien villains running around because that's too much. But if they would have done a whole, I know it could be similar to Civil War, but if you do a different spin about a morale tale of, hey, you've been doing this and look at yourself, kind of like what Tony Stark was in Civil War, right? Like he's going too far. He thinks this is best for the group, but locking everyone up is like, he can't see that you're becoming so bad, you're locking your friends up, you're putting them in prison, like what are you doing? You're destroying this team. And they literally set that up and Charles, he apologized for it, but it's all stuff we don't see. It's like, it's what we talk about with Tarantino when he does it well, the tell don't, or show don't tell. Tarantino can do that well. This doesn't do that. Anytime at the end, Charles just, I'm sorry for this and I should have done this and I should have done this and I shouldn't have done that, but it's like, who cares? Because it's just, we didn't get to see any of that. It was a few combos, but I liked that idea of asshole Charles working with the president, accepting awards. I liked that.
It's you get that, and then you also get some of the backstory scenes, the flashbacks of him with Jean as a kid, and I liked all those scenes. I thought they were really good, and it was like you saw different sides to it, and I like that. That's part of the reason why she comes back to like the good side near the end is those conversations because they kind of set that up from the beginning, and you're right. Like I guess I didn't really think about it before starting hitting record today, but really that character has gone through like so many different changes of personality, like Charles. Entirely. Exactly. Like, even think back to when we first got introduced to that character and he was just in the mansion by himself, just getting drunk and doing
his heroin
and stuff. His
cure heroin.
Like we've come a long way with that character. And so it was fun to see a different perspective of him, and we didn't really, I haven't seen X1 or X2 so much. Like we don't get that kind of Charles in those movies, do we?
No, he's the father figure. Like I'm leading the team, a nice guy. X3 is when you get it like a little bit hinted because he was doing so much. But same thing, they kill him off. It's different in this movie. He just goes away, but in X3 they kill him off, so they don't got to answer any of that. Phoenix. He was a shady. Yeah, it was like, they even tribute that in this movie. She picks him up and is doing the exact same thing.
I honestly thought he was going to die in this movie.
I was like, are you kidding me? We're going to do just X3 same scene. Again?
He just turns to dust.
Which is strange to tribute that movie. But
since we're talking about Charles, though, I feel like because he definitely goes through different phases in this movie. Like he's the alcoholic, he's the charismatic guy shaking hands with the president, and then he goes back to being the father figure. Like he kind of brings back Jean. I just felt like they did so much stuff with him. Like he was just instead of just diving into the one thing that they wanted to do with him, it just felt like he kept dipping his toes in something. Oh no, and then they're switching it up in a different direction. And for me, I didn't really. I don't know, I didn't get time to get fully invested in what they were doing with him. So for me, I wasn't really a big fan. This is definitely, I think, the lowest movie for McAvoy's Charles for me personally, out of all the ones that he's been in. I don't. It's probably just a writing thing because.
I think so.
Definitely.
We've seen him do good.
I mean, even what should be a potentially really emotional scene when, they have the funeral for Raven and he's giving the speech. And it just feels like he's reading off a script and not he's not emotional at it at all. Robot. And they've had a lot of problems, but even when she dies, as you mentioned earlier, he doesn't really emote a whole lot from that, and that really should affect him. And then after that, the funeral scene, does he bring it up again? I don't even know if it's
Yeah, 'cause
mentioned.
that's
Like,
when
I
he
guess
ha-
Beast and him have that conversation.
Yeah, because he's like, how dare you? She's my childhood friend. Because that's what I agree with that. He felt cold in that funeral scene, but I thought they were going to go through that the whole movie that he's just really cold now. But then he was cold, but then that scene with Hanky is pretty
Yeah.
emotional about it. So you could say, oh, maybe he's trying to stay strong for the team, but he doesn't have to. It's just the X-Men. Like, I don't know. It was very strange pacing and what they chose to
Yeah.
do with him, which it sucks because I think he did everything. I think all the actors did good with what they had. I liked.
I would agree. Yeah.
I agree with
Like
that.
when he was emotionally did that good. When he was being like a kind of asshole Charles, I thought he pulled that off well, and I would like to see that more. And like don't talk about the scene, the flashbacks with Gene. I feel like old Charles. You know, it's like the acting is definitely not the problem in this movie, which is
No.
a shame because you got all these talented people. You
Yeah.
know, the one just comedic thing I'll shout out is you can tell that he filmed some of the stuff around Split because this is like the most jacked Xavier's ever been. Like sometimes when he's
When he was
sitting in the
sitting in the
suit,
chair?
yeah, it's like oh
Yeah.
you don't want to fuck with.
when he was at
Xavier.
that cafe at the end, he's
Oh,
wearing like a tight shirt. I'm
yeah.
like, gee, he's been benching.
He's bigger than Fassbender.
pretty
It's like
funny.
yeah, the beast is coming.
Yeah, no, yeah, he looked pretty jacked.
It's funny coming
He's
off
just
of
sitting there,
coming
dude.
off of Glass, like that scene where he has to kind of dementedly walk up the stairs. I'm like, McAvoy could definitely do that. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
wasn't a stunt double. Like he learned, like he practiced that in his own staircase at home.
That looked pretty gruesome.
Very
too.
disturbing
was.
scene. It was
Very
such a
disturbing.
This movie has some of those dark moments in it, and they take me out of it because the whole movie, like, it's darker, but it just because it's bad writing, I never really into it. But when that happens, like, it is a big moment, but it just comes off as like this is just really
Ugh.
dark. I don't even know if we need it. She could have just picked them up, but it like worked and didn't work for me. I don't know. I'm still really uneasy about that scene. I don't know.
And also Magneto just like puts a train through the wall for absolutely no reason.
I thought it was to block.
It was the block.
Block the door.
It was the block Cyclops.
so
and
nobody
everything.
gets
But
in
like,
behind
wasn't the door there because he put a train through the wall? Like
No, there was the door.
there was just a regular door.
He walked through, then put the train by.
Oh, okay.
But I
Behind
still
him.
don't buy
so
that.
like he
'cause
could have just like put the train in front of the door. Like he didn't.
did.
No, he like put it through the building. Like just trash it through the building.
Oh well, yeah. He wanted to make a statement. He wanted to make an
Yeah.
entrance, but like it didn't make much sense because like Cyclops
Also,
just easily blows
Travis
through that.
told me like before the movie or just in the group chat or something that like they changed the finale to In a Train. I was like, it better not be that fucking train.
There was a lot of trains. I felt like
Oh,
in this
yeah.
movie, so I was like, "Oh, this is the last scene. Oh no, okay, different train. Oh, this is the last. Okay, no."
And I will say too, another like just very lazy plot writing and plot armor for Magneto. They do this big build up about how Magneto's, now he's like, and I do like it. The score, anytime Magneto's on screen, the score, I love when he was getting his old helmet out. That was great.
I was expecting the helmet from fuck, I can't even remember the movie now. They're all intertwined.
From First Class.
The one with Sebastian Shaw.
First Class, yeah.
Okay, yeah, First Class. When he's got like the red helmet with like the.
Yeah, no, this was the Apocalypse.
I was like,
helmet, yeah.
I want to see it. Oh,
But
no.
I like that, and I liked that scene again. I didn't like the context of it, but I like just him putting on and just like that idea of I'm becoming that person again.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like it. This is where we're getting to. He makes this big deal about how he's just his ultimate killer, and he's talking to Jean and Volk up there and everything like that. And then she stops him, and she just makes him crack about him. Oh, you're a killer, hey? You're doing such a poor job. And then she's like, let me show you how it's done.
Yeah.
And he does. And when later
I know,
on, she just
yeah.
evaporates people and everything like that. She throws some pieces of metal through him and like in his shoulder, and nothing happens. So that was so lame. Because I
agree.
I thought, oh, they're gonna kill him off right here. This
Yeah.
is where it's going. Because I'm like, okay, because to me that would make sense. Of he made this whole spiel about killing wasn't the way. If he goes back to killing and you kill him off, it shows. Yeah, he was right. Killing wasn't the way, because look where it led him. 6 feet under. No, he's fine. He gets out of the scot-free.
Yeah.
He's off in France with Charles doing
Yeah,
chessboard.
and, like,
but that was so lame.
I
That
feel like
she didn't kill him right there.
I feel like I 100% agree with it. Like, I feel like he should have died there. And then even when, I know it would have been kind of lame because we've already seen it, but I felt like she also could have killed Charles there. Because I don't know, like, although Charles does kind of get through to her and like bring her back in, I don't know. I just feel like it would have been a better send off for those two characters instead of just playing chess at the end.
I think
France.
I think they needed him alive because that's the only way they could bring her back.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem with her and Cyclops just dating in this movie. Like, he can bring her back, but really he tried, and he's like, you said you'd always come back to me, and that didn't work. So it's like, Scott, you got nothing.
That is fair. I guess
Yeah.
I have some plot holes in my theory.
Yeah, well, I think it's just they got bad writing. And at the end of the day, I think you're right, but I'm still happy that it ended with them playing chess. Not a great scene, but I still like that that's the last thing. I
agree.
I hate that we get some Phoenix tease in the sky. It was just like, that's an annoying thing too, that it's not like it's a last movie, but it's not, because they do all this like setting up for future movies. It's just like, I thought you guys had time to reshoot this. Why couldn't you just do anything to not do like, oh look, the Phoenix is out there and Hank's the teacher now.
The thing with that is I didn't mind it because when she like lost her body in space, I like in the back of my mind I knew that she wouldn't be dying. Maybe I just know something about that character. Like it's the Phoenix. Like she just keeps reincarnating, right? So it's like, how is she supposed to die there? So I don't know. For me, although it is cheesy, I didn't mind it really. I was like, okay, it's her movie. Let her fly. Let the Phoenix fly.
Let her fly one last time for one last ride.
Can we talk? Oh, did anyone want to go anywhere specifically?
It sounds like you two.
I wanted to say something about Jean, but I lost it, so it might come back to me.
I will say, I got to shut this off because I'm so mad I didn't in the non-spoilers. I thought she was great as Jean at the beginning or stuff with Charles because I was not a fan of her in Apocalypse. I was a fan when they cast her, and then in Apocalypse, I think it's just writing. We didn't spend much time there. I was like, I don't know how I feel about Sophie Turner's Jean Grey. I really liked her as Jean Grey. I think she did the Phoenix stuff good enough. Like, it's... I've never been a crazy person with a demon in my mind, but
it's a lot of CGI.
Yeah,
she just kind of has to,
a lot of floating hair, a lot of floating hair, and the
joint movements and stuff. But her Jean stuff was really good, and I even loved Dazzler was in this movie. That was great. But I loved the party at the fire pit. I love seeing the X-Men.
I like that too.
That was a better party than we did at First Class, where they're just like hitting each other with chairs and stuff like that. But I like that she's going around, she's having drinks. Like everything she was in another, like, a shame that, it's not a good movie, so whatever, but that we won't see more of her. I really liked her as Jean, and she really sold me, because in the Apocalypse I was not. So I just want to shut that out before I forgot that.
Good.
Yeah,
I really was a big fan of Sophie Turner in this movie.
Yeah, I've already mentioned the non-spoilers. I feel like she was definitely like a high point in this movie, just her acting wise, and I liked it just a lot more in the first bit, like when she is just full on Jean. I guess after she gets the powers, because then she's kind of breaking down, and then like you do see some of that good acting, like emotional wise. Although I am watching Game of Thrones right now, so maybe it's just bias. I'm really liking that actress. So, I remember what I was gonna say for her. Just going back to how we were talking about how like blocking the memories and stuff, and like how Hank was just full on like, this is the reason why she killed Raven. I feel like because he did block those memories, like they are very dramatic and very I don't know, like just a mixed bag of emotions. Like, obviously she's sad because she lost her mom, not her full family, but or I guess she thought it was her full family, but also like the anger that they hid it from her, also the anger that her dad didn't even want her, right? Like that was pretty harsh. But then you just combine that with like this super overly powered like Dark Phoenix. I feel like it just kind of like intertwined like with each other
subsequently.
Yeah, and it just fed off both those sides, and like that's what really just made her like her bubble burst, right? And that's how it killed Raven. So
exactly. You see the emotion on her face after she does kill Raven and realizes what she's done.
Yeah, exactly.
And then what can she do?
Yeah,
like her friends are right there. They all saw it. She just has to fly away.
Yeah.
Is it true that Jean killed Mystique?
Oh man,
Scott.
Those kids.
But we're gonna help her.
Those kids were kind of annoying. I'm like,
I hated
hanging out on the stairs.
There was that one.
They're
kid
always
that
on
had,
the stairs.
Yeah, there was a kid with like the veins, but I feel like there was a lack of weird looking mutants at the school. You know, like there should be more fish people.
The guy with like the spikes that come out of his body, like in Last Stand.
Yeah, that guy.
Multiple men just have like 3 kids that all look the same. That'd be fun.
Yeah, they didn't. Really do
also,
that.
just something I had to mention, but when they when they do the mission and then they come back and the whole school is cheering, and Charles is just like, all right, guys, it's like class is canceled for the rest of the day. It's like, oh man, like I'm learning to become a mutant. I feel like I want to go to school here.
You're not always doing that though.
They do a lot of boring stuff. Too.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I've never gone to a mutant school.
They do teach history and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Art. That's Logan's class.
All right, my bad.
Art. Yeah. Just before I forget it, because I knew I'd heard it before. Lots of people had a problem with the F-bombs. I didn't have a problem with the F-bomb. I like the
I didn't have a
touch her, I'll
problem with that
fucking kill
either.
you. Because to me, he's young. He's in love. That seemed like an idea. Because some people be like, it seems so out of character. It's just like, to me, he's this like young, emotional. I get it. Maybe it's just a character dropping an F-bomb.
Yeah,
but
I thought it was just funny. Like,
yeah.
I think
I liked it. It was fine.
The thing that stood out to me in that particular sequence is I feel like they filmed some of those scenes with like when only one person was on set.
Oh yeah,
and they like had cuts and I got that from him especially because he's the only one in that shot. So I could just picture him like showing up on set one day and like, Fassbender's off recording Assassin's Creed. Can you do this line today? And he's
Assassin's
like,
Creed
I'll fucking do it. Yeah.
Assassin's Creed was almost 5 years ago now.
I guess
No,
that's
it
when they
wasn't.
probably when they started doing this movie.
We've been doing this for like almost 4 years, and we recorded that. We did a review of that.
2016 though.
We did a review of it.
I know. He wasn't filming that. Well, this like that's what we're almost.
It's a joke. I know he wasn't filming Assassin's Creed.
I just want to forget about it. Like, I want to talk about the villains and these aliens.
Yeah, let's do it.
So So this was just awful, just from start to finish. I have nothing positive to say about it.
Wow.
I must say, when they first got introduced at the party, it was kind of freaky, just like seeing them
I
come
like
through the
horror
woods.
element to it.
Yeah.
What are they?
I like that.
Is it Groot?
Yeah, that's exactly what I
It
thought.
does, yeah. So you got the Dabari kicking around. You got Vok, who is a male in the comics, so they gender swapped her. So that's fine. She could still be a male.
There's definitely a few lines in this movie that kind of go along with that idea.
Yeah. So it's
Shouldn't
just
it be called the X-Women?
Yeah.
Quote Raven.
that was so I'm all for equality. I'm all for whatever. Like that line was very bad. Just like, oh, the women keep saving the men around here.
Yeah. It seemed forced, right?
It was.
We should
super
call the
forced.
X-Women.
It
And
was
it's
super
just
forced.
like, there's already this debate because there's rumors going around. This is a side note, but there's rumors going around that the MCU is not going to call the movie X-Men. They're going to call X Factor, which
X people.
I get,
X-Boys.
but I just never took it
And
that
girls,
way
and girls.
because like X-Men is like the word man is in human. The word man is in woman. I've never just taken that as like this is men. Like
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just people being like, oh, we gotta change it, and maybe MCU will, but I'm never gonna be a fan of that. I don't get it from a branding point of view too. When my mom's gonna be like, "What's X Factor?" Like if you see X-Men with Spider-Man,
Yeah,
like,
isn't X Factor like a talent, like a
Talent show.
Yeah, like
That's
a,
what I thought it was.
Ripley's- yeah.
So it's just
think
so
you're right.
that line just reminded me. I did not like that line, not for the fact of like, oh, I'm all about the men. It can't be X-Woman. It just was a bad line.
One day when we have Jessica on the cast, we'll have to ask her what she thinks.
Jeez,
Three white dudes.
what was
Yeah,
the word
yeah.
I was looking? Miss Jove.
Miss Jovial. I don't actually know what word you're looking
You're
for.
looking for the other word of white, right? Misogynist.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you,
yeah.
Travis.
Okay.
You say,
But that's not. I'm all for that. It just that did feel really forced. That did feel really forced in the way of because you got to think about that. Maybe it's happened in the other movies, but we just had that one scene where it happened. So it'd be different if it happened in the middle of the movie. We
Yeah.
saw women save them a bunch. It was just It was not the greatest, and it's just because it is these rumors go around the X Factor. It's just I'm not a fan of that name. I'm not a fan. I don't know what to call it, but just call it X-Men because that's just the way it is. That's a fanboy thing. If you disagree with me, then that's what it's great.
Tell us what you
opinions.
think in the comments below.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel like it's just a little too far. It's just I feel like people have read too much into the word men there, but
What do you think of the villain?
not great. I hated. I said this to Dylan last night, so I'm a broken record for the fans, but I think it makes sense here. I've always said it was Civil War, my second favorite MCU movie now because of Endgame. Because Endgame is just
Pretty good movie.
it's just the
One would
chef's
say.
kiss, So I've
Dominic
always
Dakota.
I said that our very first review that I did with Liam, Kyle, and Dylan, that my biggest fear when Civil War was happening, they set up this subplot of there's a bunch of Winter Soldiers, and the whole movie is about how Cap and his team have to get there, and they get to this facility, and you see all these tanks. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna fight all these Winter Soldiers, and it'll be so boring. And then we get in there, and Zemo will kill them all, and it's like, oh, this is great. And then there's like the triple threat with Bucky, Iron Man, Cap, and then it's like orgasmic. This is literally there's a bunch of aliens, and know what happens? And a bunch of faceless, no-name aliens. All we know is Chastain's character, who just walks around going like, you don't know things. They don't know things. Men have controlled us for too long. The world is more powerful than you. Just saying just generic comic book shit. All you have is her who sits out the final fight, who's just staring at the train the whole time. You just have the X-Men versus a bunch of fucking people from I Am Legend running around like being crazy aliens. The rules don't apply because Dylan and I were talking about this. They show one alien on the train, and this helicopter machine gun takes it out, and it dies. And then all these other ones get shot. But I do remember at one point they are back on the top, and copters are shooting them again, and those ones are fine. So I don't think they established. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just felt like
It's just like after you hit them with 50 bullets, they die.
yeah. But then you have like
But like
Fassbender.
only certain bullets, only the special bullets from this gun, but not Fassbender's gun,
Fass-
just that gun.
Fassbender, who had all the guns of World War II, unload a clip on Vok, and it just was. The rules were lame, and it was just lame.
I mean,
Seeing the fight-
Vok, to be fair,
in
at that point
defense,
does have some
yeah.
Dark Phoenix in her.
True,
So
true.
she's got some more power.
And I think I'm saying it right because because Dabari I had to look up today. Vok, I don't know. I didn't look up
Dabari?
to say it. Dabari's the race of aliens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
They say that, I think, in the movie.
Yeah, maybe it was tough.
Perhaps.
It was a mind-numbing experience. So yeah, I just hated the end was just them versus a bunch of CGI people. We don't care. That's where I actually liked lots of Magneto stuff. Where at one point he that guy punched the metal and he broke his hand with the metal. Like that was cool stuff. But it was just. And there's one moment me and Dylan laughed big time where Magneto took out a bunch of people, and I can't remember because I've been trying to look up what mutant it was. I don't even think they said their name. She was the bald one. She was a telepath. She had the knife. And at one point they take out some people, and he looks at her, and she looks at him, and And then a Dabari just sticks his hand okay, I gotta set up because it's her. She's standing right by an entrance of the train. The train's moving really quick, and they're staring at each other. It's almost like they're insinuating they're a couple or something. They're good friends. She's standing there, they're kind of like smiling, like, yeah, we took out these people. A Dabari's hand just comes up by the head, grabs her, pulls her out, and he goes, no!
And then she's dead.
Yeah,
she's gone. That's it. That's the character.
She's gone, and it felt like a parody movie, and that's what happened. The ending was just a complete mess, and it just was.
Man, that character, what a mess. Eh? Like, she spends one scene in like Magneto's camp where she's like just doing some weird fucking. What's the Enchantress and doing some weird Enchantress stuff, and then
Charles holds her. For a
she's
whole
like
fight.
that whole fight. So she's just standing there, and then she just gets.
Oh,
chucked.
I'm in the next X-Men movie, and your family's just watching. You're just doing this the whole time, and like,
that would suck.
It was just
do not take your family to
the
red carpet.
It was just a mess, and that's why I said it was literally mind-numbing when we got that, and just the transition of the CGI looked good, but just these like holding to each other with Vulcan stare downs and like Phoenix stuff going back and forth.
Oh.
It was very poor. It was just uninspiring. It was lazy, and I hated it.
I would be inclined to agree.
Hated it.
And it sucks because as Kirkle mentioned earlier, the intro for it is fantastic. Like, it really sets this kind of it sets like mysterious but also kind of horror vibes, and it's really well done. And then she like goes back into the house and like crunches that guy's stomach. Like, it's pretty intense stuff.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of it. Like, her character, unfortunately, 90% or more of her dialogue is just straight exposition, right? She's just explaining what the Dark Phoenix thing is, why it, is where it is, why her planet got blew up. Unfortunate dialogue there for her. And then the other thing...
yeah, that's a word for sure.
Yeah. The other thing is just like the style they went for with these aliens. So obviously they take the form of humans and stuff, but then they also went with like the kind of, I guess, one take you can do with aliens where they're just like these emotionless beings, right? And it's like, yeah, that can make sense. Like, maybe they don't experience emotion the same way we do. But, you look at like Captain Marvel, a lot of people shit on that movie, but you look at like what they did with the Skrulls, right? And after that, it's like, okay, they made this like alien race like really, really fun when it could have just been really generic.
Yeah.
And after that movie, it's like a lot of people have problems with that movie, but I think a lot of people are still in the camp like, I want to see these guys again. I want to see them come back. I'd love to see more of their home world or more of their people. You can't say the same for these aliens.
No, not at all.
They're just nothing compared to that.
I don't know where you're going where people are shit on Captain Marvel.
There's a lot of people that shit on that movie, or maybe her in particular. Do you not see that?
What?
Do you not see that on like Twitter and stuff?
Yeah, it's
people
her.
are always trashing her.
It's just her because she's a big
well,
time.
I don't know. I would extend that to like the movie then.
I guess, but
she's starring in it.
But I feel like it's to do with her political stuff, not her acting. It has to do with like she's an SJW warrior and like she doesn't.
I don't really.
smile.
Yeah, I don't give these people really the light of day. I don't go reading through their replies.
Yeah, so I think
it's more just I do see that movie. I feel like for MCU stuff gets a lot more 50-50 opinions on it.
I think there's some
not at the
shrouding it.
Well, actually, kind of. I think Briggs was kind of trash on that movie. But
he still gave it a pass.
Yeah, a clean pass.
The
point is
there are no Skrulls.
The point is that the Skrulls are interesting, even if you only have like one or I guess really two Skrulls in that movie that kind of give they kind of exemplify like a lot more about that race and make it seem a lot more interesting. Those aliens, you want to see more of them. You want to see the other tribes of that race. You want to see what they're like. But yeah, this movie, like, there's only like Chastain's really the only character that has. I don't know. She doesn't really get anything at all. Like, there's not. She gets more than anyone else, but
she just gets more speaking lines.
She's just the exposition machine, and she's supposed to be scary because she has like the power in her. But then you have the one other guy that who knows what his name is, and he's like kind of the leader, I guess. I suppose, but that's pretty much it.
I think they're like the co-leads, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So really unfortunate that like there's just nothing to it. That's all there is to say on that.
I'm just trying to think at all X-Men villains. This is, I think, easily my least favorite. Even Origins Stryker, who is not great. It's just fodder. It's just a bunch of cannon fodder.
It was so bland, and like there's literally nothing to it. And
it's what you're saying earlier. Obviously, there's like some comparisons here to Civil War, on not in quality, not even close, but just in terms of concept. And yeah, in a movie like that, you have Zemo, but I don't know. There's still like enough presence of opposition just around, and you have that with Phoenix in this movie, and then you kind of have them X-Men fight each other for 2 minutes, which is not really necessary. But I don't know. Did they really need this alien race? Maybe they needed something. I don't know, but certainly the path there they went with it is just, as Travis said, very uninspired. I think is the best way to say it.
Very uninspired. Yeah. I really don't have much to say.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I didn't give a Vok about that character.
Oh.
She was just so like everything what you just said. She's only there for exposition, right? Like she did not.
My favorite characters.
Love them.
Yeah, it was just
Exposition aliens.
I don't know. I kind of feel bad for Jessica Chastain because she is such a good like actress, right? But I feel like fucking.
They're like, don't make emotion this entire movie.
I feel like
director's like, no,
Joe
we're redoing
Blow
that.
could have done this,
flashed a
right?
smile.
Yeah, it's just like she was plain face the entire time. She showed no emotion. Like it was just, it was.
Yeah, they really should have got a no name to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's
and then maybe people would have shit on them, but like, whatever. It doesn't really
like
matter.
it doesn't come off she's an award-winning actress.
Yeah, like I know her
Just
from better
wasted talent.
things, so luckily for me, it's like okay, I know she's better quality than this, but yeah, it was pretty unfortunate. For like that race in general, specifically about like that end like train fight scene, there was a lot of stuff that happened in there that I did really like actually. Like I liked when Nightcrawler kind of had a time to shine. He like grabbed a knife and was kind of popping off.
Became a mass murderer. And when he faces off against Vok, he's just like stabbing her constantly. I get it. We are trying to kill her, but it just felt like he's gonna turn into a serial killer. Now.
It's
he
like
went full rage mode.
I'm not defending his like transition to just becoming fucking a full-on psychopath, but I don't know. I just like seeing like his bamfing around, and I don't know. I like that stuff.
I like that set piece in general. I had fun with it. I do think it's a little strange that, like, I get it. Cyclops, you need him to like bust through the walls, but like, shouldn't they got once again Nightcrawler to like teleport Professor Xavier around?
Oh yeah.
I mean, yes, he can't like teleport through something he can't see.
Yeah.
I think maybe the idea, like, I'm not trying to make sense of this terrible movie, but maybe the idea is Nightcrawler's, he can go outside quicker, he can move around a lot quicker than Scott, where Scott can easily protect Xavier with his optic blast, where if there's like a few carts down, Nightcrawler can get there like that to help out an X-Men, where Scott has to hope he doesn't hit Magneto accidentally.
Yeah, I guess so. It's weird because it's actually, Kirkland was saying earlier that like the choreography between like the X-Men was actually really good in a lot of the fight scenes, and they established that like just 10 minutes earlier that like, oh yeah, they're a good team. Like Nightcrawler teleports Xavier around and works really well, but then they just kind of forgot about that idea for the train, which I guess they already did it. But I don't know. It just didn't really make much sense.
Yeah, maybe they didn't. There's an argument there that maybe they just didn't want to redo it. But hey, there's a lot of questions that happen in this movie.
Oh yeah.
It's like the tiniest of nitpicks relative to other problems.
Yeah. Just going to like Magneto in this like fight sequence, I feel like majority of everything that was going on with him, I really really liked. Like you already mentioned, like when he pulled out all the guns, like that just looked really cool. Like when he was fighting the co-lead, I don't know what the hell his name was. I think he was like an FBI guy. I think that's what like the body that he took over of.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you his name to save my life.
His name was Jones.
Oh, Jones. But yeah, so Jones when he like punches him and he like has that piece of metal and it kind of like bends his wrist, and then even when he like first comes into the room and Magneto just like forces him into the corner with all that metal, like it was just like, oh man.
At one point when a bunch of them are on the same like trolley and he just like,
I was gonna mention that. Yeah, it looks so sick.
Cool.
Oh man,
yeah.
I'm a big fan of like that superhero like Magneto with his powers, because it's just like the creative ways that they use metal. Going back to First Class, like when he uses the coin to just like go through Shaw. Is it Shaw?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason I thought it was like Shock or something. Or
Shocker.
But
Last minute, I'm here, guys.
just the way that they show like how he manipulates his powers. It's so like artistic almost in a way, right? And just seeing him like just bend it like a freaking pop can, like it just looks so sick. Just seeing his power, and then Fassbender just sells it so well. Like I'm kind of jumping, but like when he's with Jean and like the copter, and like he's just like trying to like keep that copter. I don't know why I started saying copter. That kind of sounded weird. But he's got the chopper, and he's just like trying to keep it up. Like just the way that he's selling it, like with his body. Like he's such a good actor, and the way that he sells like Magneto's powers. Obviously, it's CGI, so it's not actually happening. But like I believe that he's like doing it right, and he just executes that. So, and so like majority of the fight stuff that happened on the train with what are they called again? I almost called them Skrulls. Dabaris. Yeah, majority of like the fight scenes, I'd say with the X-Men, like not really like with the guys in the choppers that are just like
people.
So X Factor. Yeah, we'll go with that. It's safe. But like when they're like mowing them down on the roof, I do agree with Travis. Like it is almost just like I Am Legend like villains, where it's just like there's so many like I don't know what
I Am
they
Legend is a great movie. We're not shitting on it.
It is a great movie.
No, I'm not. It just felt like they just took like I don't know if what? No, that's a Warner Brothers movie. But I just feel like it's the same studio. And like, oh, we still have some animations from I Am Legend left. Oh, let's use that.
like they're just swarming the train. Like there's really nothing going on.
Or
like,
World War Z for another comparison.
Yeah,
exactly. Just running around.
Exactly,
So
just mindless. They almost seem like.
And those characters are lame. They're always lame. You know, like
they inherently don't have personality because they cannot.
Yeah. And then
Jones, personality.
Jones in for a good character here.
Just on the same topic of that scene, like when Jean finally. Geez, I'm kind of drawing a blank, but when she like bursts out of like her chains or whatever, it's like a dream sequence sort of, right? I think she's talking to
at the very end when she turns good.
Well, because Xavier's like
when she's in the
out.
train. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they have a moment.
It's kind of a dream sequence, right?
And
Oh no, they're talking
in each other's mind.
Right.
Vok shows up, kicks
We're in
the
my
door.
mind this time, aren't we?
Yeah. So
much quieter.
I really like the transition into that from when she just like wakes up and it just like bursts off the like I don't know it's pretty cheesy, but for me it's aesthetically pleasing for me. So I did like that stuff. And then I don't know. I am jumping all over the place. But when she finally like gets rid of Vok and just takes her off into space, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I wasn't that satisfied with how they ended that character.
No.
Obviously, it's not a super villain that I wanted to see an epic send off for that character. But
guess what, guys? MCU first announcement, we're bringing over Vok.
Yeah, but like that I wasn't a big fan of. But like when she does turn good and she is just like decimating the shitty Skrulls. I keep forgetting their name, so I'll just Dabari. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
But I don't know.
I'm gonna make sure we're pronouncing Vok right.
Vok.
Find it out.
Vok.
Yeah.
Vok.
Because they don't actually call her that. They call her that, but it's subtitles. We never hear someone say the word.
Right.
Vok.
Yeah. But like it's kind of like slow mo, and she's just like decimating these people. I thought that was a pretty cool just sequence. It's pretty quick. It doesn't last long, but I don't know. I just. From the start of like the train sequence action with the foot soldiers, I wasn't a big fan of, but once the X-Men got involved and you got to kind of see them shine with their powers, I started liking it more.
Yeah, I guess we'll touch on a couple other action scenes. Like the initial one where the X-Men go up into space.
In space, yeah. I forgot about that scene because I wanted to talk about it too.
I like it. It's fun. It's a fun
too.
way that they use everyone's powers in like a unique way, and it really shows that they're a team. And I thought it worked really well. And it was like the classic superhero movie that has a action set piece in the first like 15 minutes. Like they always seem to have them, and it was an effective one. It was fun. It was good to like. It was a good reminder because I haven't watched Apocalypse. Actually, I don't think I've seen it since theaters, so it's been a while for me. So it was fun to reestablish like, okay, which characters are we playing with again, and show like all their powers and working together. It was really fun.
Her name is pronounced Vuk, by the way.
Vuk.
Yeah, so it goes
I don't give a Vuk.
So sorry, I didn't know the classic X-Men character name. I knew the name, but it's been.
Have you encountered her in a comic before?
No, I don't think so. But it's
it
one
would
of
have
those.
been a him though, right?
It's one of those that like I was happy when the movie came out because some people thought because I always call him Magneto and some people thought it was Magneto and I was always like no, it's not. And then when they did that, like yeah, fuck yeah, you know, it's like it's the same people in like the side that. Ra's al Ghul. Nolan calls him Ra's al Ghul in Batman. I've always liked that.
I thought it was Raj.
It's it's Rash. It's like no, it's Raish, and I'm like I don't like that. And
What
then when Nolan
You said like 7 different names there. Which one is it actually?
so it's supposedly most comic fans say it's Raish, but then Nolan came out and was like, no, I'm calling him Raz. Raish sounds stupid. And
I like the Nolan method.
Yeah. So
Nolan.
Vuk is how you pronounce it.
Vuk.
Yeah, just on like the space scene. I that was probably like my favorite like scene or like the scene of the entire movie probably. It's I don't know, you just get to see them like kind of in action. They're pretty structured. They seem like they kind of know what they're doing. Like it seems like Raven's kind of calling the shots, and then just the dynamics and like the synergies that they use each other's powers. I really liked it when they go back to the ship and then they're gonna go. Sorry, let me draw the picture here. when they go to the NASA space shuttle and then they jump back to like the X-wing. Is that what it's called? The X-wing?
That's a Star Wars thing, isn't it? X-wing?
Yeah, that's not
the X-ship. What's it called? Their ship.
X-Jet.
X-Jet.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I felt like I was close. I had the first part right. Wow. But anyways, they jump back and then they're sending Quicksilver and Nightcrawler back to get the captain, and then Quicksilver just super fast just like laces him up with like a almost like a Mysterio orb so that he can like survive in space. It just looked hilarious that he did with the duct tape.
It's the Blackbird, yeah.
The Blackbird? Okay. And I don't know, just like the way that they did that stuff, I really appreciated. I'm a really big fan of this type of Quicksilver. it's funny that we haven't even mentioned him this entire
He was going to be the next topic.
Yeah. But I guess we can transition then.
Yeah, I got nothing to say in the space scene. I liked it enough. I don't think I liked it as these two. I felt there was some moments where I didn't understand. Some people without helmets were just kind of willy-nilly.
Oh, well, when Jean goes and she's like, because she goes to keep the ship like intact, right? Yeah. But when they first go there, it's just open space and she's just chilling. I'm like,
well, even Nightcrawler.
Well, she has like a bubble around her, doesn't she?
But even
I mean, I don't think they show it, but like she has been known to bubble things.
If you leave it for interpretation, I'll buy it in that sense.
But even Nightcrawler, the first time he goes over, doesn't have anything.
Yeah, Nightcrawler makes no sense.
And then when he goes back, and Quicksilver doesn't either. So and then when Nightcrawler goes back, he like.
I guess there is still oxygen going on in that ship.
Yeah, I guess that's what I did. That took me out of it. To be honest, maybe when I watched the second time, I might enjoy it. But that I was like, I don't understand the loss here. And then I was just getting salty because I knew it's like, oh, we're just retconning Apocalypse, aren't we? And like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing. 5 minutes into your movie, you retcon your first movie. So I want to also talk about that because that is to go into Quicksilver because that just shows again. Sometimes they've given us some great movies, but man, sometimes they just don't give a fuck, and that's why I'm so excited for Feige to get the X-Men. I am disappointed in some aspects that we might not get unique films like a Logan or a Deadpool, but hopefully we still do. Yeah, Quicksilver. So this is a character he's set up since Days of Future Past. He meets Magneto and he makes jokes about, oh, my dad. His whole motivation for Apocalypse is he's trying to find his dad and he wants to talk to him. And you can go back. I've always hated that in Apocalypse where at the end of the movie, oh, you can talk to him? No, I'll get to it. Two things. One, again, who's ever doing this is just lazy writing because you know what? You should have just fucking killed Quicksilver too in that scene because they clearly don't know how to handle a character this powerful, so they just wrote him out in the laziest way ever. They just see him on a gurney and he's gone. Whole movie, he's in this for about 5 minutes, that's it, which is very frustrating because he's been a highlight of the past two movies. He's a great actor that is popular, and two, the biggest thing is Magneto, who's my favorite villain of all time, and to me that's a fun relationship, and you can't do that no matter what's going to happen with the X-Men or the X-Factor in the MCU. You can't do the Quicksilver Magneto father-dad thing because guess what? Quicksilver's fucking dead in Sokovia somewhere. So it's like you had a unique relationship where you can do, and something that would have been so cool seeing Magneto with a other mutant child. They've been setting this up, and now we've never gone to see that. You know what? Just like, fuck you. That's just like the biggest, like, I wish they never even teased that then. He was just Quicksilver because it's just why even introduce that at all. And I know it's a different director, but it's not a different writer because Simon Kinberg's been producing these movies. So it just to me shows I'm not excited for him as a director going forward because to me it shows that I get it. That wasn't your movie you directed, but still you got to atone to some of that stuff. You can't just throw it out. And if you do, you get a shit movie. So yeah, I was beyond disappointed.
Especially if you're making this movie and you have all your characters lined down on a piece of paper. What am I going to do with all of them? And your answer with Quicksilver, as you're saying, a popular character who has like the most memorable scene in Apocalypse, probably the most memorable scene in Days of Future Past as well. And we're just going to not do anything with him. And like you're saying, like he's a powerful character. How do you deal with that? Well, they already dealt with that in this movie. Phoenix was able, she's able to slow down time or like know what he's doing. And then she dealt with it and knocked him out. You can do that throughout the movie. You can have Vuk doing that because she has those powers as well. Or, you can just make Magneto bring up a piece of metal, knocks him out. There, he's gone for 5 minutes. Now you don't have this super powerful character. But instead, like, yes, we didn't get one of those like slow-mo scenes of him going around. Yeah, maybe they did that twice. They don't need to do it again. But I would have loved to see one of those.
It. Oh, and I would have
They kind of have one in like the start of the movie with like the spaceship scene because he's grabbing all the astronauts, I guess, rounding them up, bringing them over to Nightcrawler. So they kind of did it, but I didn't.
More serious.
Yeah, when I was watching that scene in the moment, I didn't think that was the only time we were going to see that, and I didn't think that was the only time we were going to see Quicksilver. 100%.
I 100% agree with you because I think why obviously I'm pretty biased because those two scenes from Days of Future Past and Apocalypse, like they're probably one of my favorites just because I don't know, maybe I'm just big fanboying for that character.
Well, they're such well done scenes and like Time in a Bottle. What is the other song that they use?
Sweet Dreams.
Yeah,
so good.
So good, right?
And then like when they're on the ship, obviously they don't have music going on with it, but like I just love like the way that they use him. Like you just see him like get everyone out, like he unbuckles them and then like he grabs Nightcrawler. He grabs Nightcrawler and then makes them like touch him all. So it's just super easy and it's just super like artsy in a way. And I don't know. I was I agree with you. Maybe they would have just been like diluting like the like the fun factor of those slow-mo scenes if they just kept repeating it and then they would have done it the third time. But I would have eaten it up, man.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure I'm sure I'm not the only one. Like you said, that's 2 out of 3 people in this room.
Like the best. Like if that were the
I'm
case,
50-50
there'd be a big possibility that this movie would have some sort of connection with like the best scenes category in Golden Geeks in 2019. Is that going to be the case now? I don't know, but they could have.
I think I know.
It probably would have been like my favorite scene in this entire movie, and like I know that's not saying much, but like it probably would have jumped at a point in my rating.
I'll give you this. To me, if I knew, and I had an idea, you can go in the X-Men rankings because I just had a feeling like we're not seeing Quicksilver in any of these trailers really. So I thought they were going to kill him with Mystique, and like I said, I wish they did that now. I would have still been bummed and gave them the same cons, but this to me gets even more cons of just like you kept him alive just to hang out at the school, and we never see him again. He's never asking what's going on,
and then he just has like some really lame joke at the very last.
Yeah.
So lame.
Yeah, and so that's why if I knew that, I would have taken a scene like that. But what I really want is more just Quicksilver. So I would have been fine
if he was just like had lines and was talking. Was relevant to the story.
And like Dylan brought up, like, oh, you got Magneto take him out. They're trying to do this whole like, ideologies versus each other. Like I said, a Civil War thing, friends against friends. You could have something that MCU doesn't have. You could have a father and a son who have different ideologies squaring off, and think about how emotional you could. Not in this movie, they wouldn't handle it well. But think about the concept of Quicksilver believes, no, we can save Jean. Magneto goes, no, we can kill her. Mm-hmm. And they know that they're father and son. Just the dynamic there of maybe that would have Magneto not be so violent or something like that. But no, they just don't bring him to the battle scene at all. Like it's just
he could have even been perfect with the train scene, right? Because he could just run at the same speed.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. He could have been whipping those
so many ways
off.
to
do it. It's just I don't get it, and it's like the last fight. It's just like, and maybe that's my overall for this movie. It's just uninspiring. Of just like, yeah, let's just take him out, and it's just like. Why? It's just other than you don't deserve these characters.
Other than losing like Fassbender in as Magneto in a character, I think like the biggest loss for me for like not having this type of X-Men is that Quicksilver character. Like I just feel like it was such good casting for him. He was so like just unique for that character and just really like really humorous. Yeah, exactly.
Especially that you say, he's dead in the MCU, so we're not going to see that character.
And we had him on screen for like what, 15 minutes?
Maybe Mysterio's alternate dimensions are going to help us out. Hey. Oh, I found this fast guy.
Seriously, bring in Fassbender, bring in, I forget the actor's name for Quicksilver.
Evan Peters. Oh, yeah.
Do it. Like bring in just like the best of the best.
I'm even fine if they brought them in and they had no memory of those movies. They just start them off like fresh and just like, oh yeah, you're
the
that.
Exact same hair and everything.
And the thing is, you could play out the father storyline because guess what? They did it for fucking 3 movies since 2014 and didn't even do it. Just makes no sense. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad things happening in this movie. But that was probably like going into this. I was like, well, at least I'm gonna figure out what they do with Quicksilver. And I mean, I didn't really dissect the trailers like you did, so I wasn't like, oh, Quicksilver's not really gonna be.
I thought it would at least be resolved. I thought, and this is the way it could have solved.
They didn't even touch it.
This is the way it could have solved it for me. Is let's say they do this whole bullshit thing of take Quicksilver out. Magneto's clearly, again, at the end, a good guy. Just for him to maybe go to the X-Mansion, and I wanted to see the reveal in the movies of, hey, I'm your son. But let's say, okay, between Apocalypse and now, he's told them they know each other, are father and son. Just for him to even go to the mansion, just to be checking in on him because he was hurt. Just to, like, them have some dialogue, blah, blah, blah. Just anything to acknowledge their relationship. But no, it's just like all I wanted was one scene, 1, 2, 3 minute scene of just, oh yeah, Jean really, like, because imagine if Beast goes there and like he killed Raven, he really hurt Peter, like it just adding upon it, and then he goes to the mansion to check on him. Like there's just easy. It's easy, and that's the problem. It's easy stuff, and the fact that they missed that is mind-boggling.
Or if they did kill off Quicksilver, and like he did know it was his son, we've already mentioned like Fassbender's probably the best at like selling that he lost someone he loves, right? Like we could go on and off about like the possibilities what they could have done with it, and it's just I can't believe they didn't even try at it, right? They're just like just erase it.
And I still wouldn't like the sudden switch of not killing, but if it was, hey, he killed Raven, and she killed your son as well, then it's like I can even buy it a little bit more. But no, it's just.
No.
I don't know. But that's why to me this still felt like they were trying to set up for more movies because like, we don't want to kill him off because and know what, maybe he was just not available for filming. I don't know, but this movie was over multiple times and there's no one can tell me at all you couldn't have found a fucking day to get Fassbender and him together for a scene. That's complete bullshit. So especially how many times they've pushed it back. So I don't believe you at all. So just that's triggered me into high heaven.
Totally. No, I totally agree. I remember walking out and I'm just like, I can't believe they didn't even, they just didn't even try to do anything with it. They're just like, it's easier just to ignore it.
Yeah, there's so many other characters they could have just got rid of that didn't really do anything. Like Storm didn't really do anything in this movie.
No.
I still don't know who
she has some cool effects. She zaps some guys.
I liked her look and I liked her voice, but other than that, she didn't really progress.
I like
the
when she
story.
goes to help Fassbender. And he like looks up and like sees her through the train. Like that was kind of cool.
Gives
I
her
guess.
a little.
Beast, go help Storm.
Yeah.
They acknowledge each other. But I mean, I would have rather had Quicksilver, right?
Oh.
Unknown,
Especially like we've been going on and off about like what they could have done with it, but just man, like having him in that train scene, like just running like with it, right? Oh, so many possibilities.
You could have him with his dad doing combo moves together. Like it's ridiculous.
That movie would have been so much better.
Or even if you just go full on with the Civil War, and then you have this dynamic where like Silver's part of the X-Men, but like his father's.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Man.
And it's just like, even if the movie storyline still sucked, it's like, just make those cool moments happen.
Imagine Fassbender, like, you know how oh my god, Quicksilver got like bopped by that shrapnel. He was climbing up the shrapnel to get to her, and she just like moved it. Imagine like Fassbender just making like that staircase for him.
Catches him. Yeah,
impossible possibilities we'd come with, and they just didn't even do one.
See, and that's why I love the MCU, because when I just think about Endgame, I think about man, they do all that stuff where you're like, oh, I wish they do this. They just do it, and this is like stuck in the early. Like, no, we're not gonna do that. Let's just do this boring stuff, and it's just like, why? Like, this is the time.
I don't know. It's like the implications too, right? Because like we never see him again.
No.
So this is like your last chance. It's like if you're the director for this, like I'm directing my first movie, give me Quicksilver. I'll do something fun with it.
Let's do
I'll put on a Steely
things.
Dan song. I'll have him run for 7 minutes straight. I don't give a shit.
But that to
I
me-
would totally do that.
Or even just make the end credit scene him running.
Exactly.
but
him running through the credits.
Yeah, but that's the
putting
thing.
names around and stuff.
That to me just gives me not fate for his future movies, because to me he just looked at that character and was just like, I got nothing. I don't know. And I'm just like, what? Like, and like I said, if it's a filming thing, then fine. But there's ways you could find some cool things for him to do if you still want to take him out. He could come at the end and help out. It's just ridiculous, and that's why I'm very excited for. Even though Quicksilver is now dead, which sucks in the MCU, and I wasn't a big fan of that Quicksilver, but still, I'm just excited for Feige to get the rest of these people. You know,
All right.
I'll look at my notes, but I think I am depleted.
We gotta talk about Mystique, no?
Yeah.
Kill off scene.
Raven.
All I have to say is that, like I said, my non-spoilers, I thought she was doing a good job. I liked the lines and the storyline they gave her that they killed off really quick. I feel like
putting her in Jean Grey is really fun.
Yeah, I'll disagree, because I hate that they try to like enforce this like really mentor-mentee relationship, but we've not seen it
I feel
at all.
Well, I feel like Mystique's kind of been that for like most of the X-Men, right? Like she's been like, Charles is like the head guy, and then she's just kind of like the realist that kind of filters out some of the things, and like because
Xavier's like the guy behind the scenes,
this is her
but she's on the front line.
But this is her first movie in the team, though, because that was with First Class. I'm not counting First Class because all those fuckers are dead.
Okay, fair.
Days of Future Past, she's a criminal. Apocalypse, she's a criminal, and then the end, she's like, I am an X-Men. So this is the first time she's like being nice and with them, and that's why I still feel we needed more time with all these characters for me to, because I don't feel that emotional when she dies. Other than I know this character, because like Jean, they try and play it up like it's like a big sister to her, but it's like I've not seen that. I've just seen Mystique look at the plane, go like, "You okay? You all right? Okay. I just want to make sure," and then walks away like, "Oh, okay."
I mean, you're not wrong. For me, it worked though. Like I bought their relationship, even if there wasn't like, I don't know. I wasn't super fresh on what exactly happened in Apocalypse, so for all I knew, they could have been friends there.
I think I'm in your same boat. I don't think I've seen it since in the theaters, and then we reviewed it.
Maybe I'm sure I at some point fired it up and watched like 10 minutes. I was like, I'm going to go read a book.
I'll go YouTube the Quicksilver scene.
Yeah.
But I will say the reason I thought
I'll definitely do that when I get home tonight.
I think her performance was good, because I think I've somebody, if you didn't tune the retros, I thought she was great in First Class, but then Days of Future Past, Apocalypse kind of phoned in. I think she was good in this movie. I think it's just because she knew that she didn't have that much screen time in this movie. She's in it for about 15, 20 minutes.
I like that she's mostly in Raven form in this movie and not Jennifer Lawrence form.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence is beautiful. I'm not saying anything against her. It's just I like the blue.
Well, especially like
the blue and the scaliness.
It made no sense why she changed back after the mission, though. The talk to
100%.
Charles.
That was really weird.
Why? It was like, oh, so this day...
That's like more work, too, from like a filming point of view.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this day she didn't want to sit in the chair, right?
Okay. But she was still in... She like showed up with...
I know.
Yeah.
But that makes me think they shot those scenes differently, like we were talking about that Scott and Magneto stuff, you know, because who knows what happened. We need a documentary for this.
I honestly would be down.
New Mutants.
I would be down.
Yeah. My first question, why'd you do Quicksilver dirty?
Yeah, my first question is why?
Yeah, just why?
Yeah, for me personally, this is probably like she's not in it a lot. Maybe that adds to why I think this is Jennifer Lawrence like best movie as Mystique. I was actually getting a little emotional when she died, which is funny because I actually really did not like her in like the first two adaptations of like First Class and Days of Future Past. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just like I've seen like this character like Mystique, not necessarily Jennifer Lawrence Mystique, but maybe she's been on the ride, right? Like all X-Men, she's been in it.
That character's been same thing as Charles and Magneto
now,
since X1. She's in the OG trilogy. Like she's been like that character, just not even like you said, Jennifer Lawrence. That character has been around since the beginning as well.
Exactly. So like seeing her killed off, and also I wasn't really expecting her to die the way she did. Maybe I'm just a little blind.
Do you mean like in that scene or just
in that scene? I knew she was gonna die like in the movie. I think we kind of figured that out from the trailers.
Well, the director told us. He's dies.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't tell me. He told someone.
And the weird thing is,
Quicksilver. He's not in the movie. No.
The weird thing is, they asked him why he said that. He's like, "Well, we wanted to show everyone like the stakes are really big and anyone's life is at risk, but then no one else dies."
Anyone can die.
I don't want to call,
but only the one I said.
I will not call him effing idiot, but the sentiment is there because it's like I
feel like he sounds like he's like 19 years old or something. He's just young, doesn't really know what he's doing yet.
He's trying to get a unique look. He
wrote Days of Future
Past. Like Tom Holland
just
giving away like all this stuff.
He wrote Days of Future Past. He's been involved with these movies since the beginning.
But like that scene, maybe because like it kind of shows like maybe I'm with Dylan's boat though, where it's like I did buy like the dynamic that she had with the rest of the mutants. Like I felt like she was kind of like a sister to them, not just like how Charles is like their father figure. She's more of like a sister, right? Like part of them.
She's in the trenches.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to say it. And so when she had that moment with Jean, and then like the burst just comes, and she's just like, you don't even see the what was it? It was like wood spike or something that just punctured
debris.
Her. Oh, it was pretty gruesome.
Really? A classic Pickett.
Yeah,
broken house.
But like you don't see it at first, but just on like their faces, you can kind of tell what happened, and music, just the atmosphere that was going on. I was like, wow, like this is kind of heavy. And for me personally, I kind of took that emotionally, but I wasn't full out bawling like Infinity War Endgame style, but it was definitely like wow.
I think for me, just because it was spoiled in the trailers and just confirmed by the director that like I knew it was coming. I think that took away the emotional impact for me, even though I have really liked that character. I've liked her in all the movies. Apocalypse I'm a little fuzzy on, just haven't seen it super recently. But I've always been a fan of her. But also as soon as she like it was shown that she died, someone in our theater just had the most massive gasp of all time and was like, "Oh my god, really? No!" They were just very, very loud.
I think they were 100% young girls like went there just to see Jennifer
they were like
Lawrence.
Hunger Games fans that were like,
"Oh,
Jennifer Lawrence movie."
And had no idea she's gonna die in the first 20 minutes. I was like, what a bummer.
Yeah.
So that definitely took away from me too, where I was like, seriously?
Also, like, because this movie's been pushed back so much, I feel like the first trailer I saw was like fucking years ago, so I really don't remember much what happened, and I feel like when we first,
at least 1 year ago.
When we first watched that trailer too, it was like you can kind of see like Mystique. Again, I haven't seen it in a long time, so maybe I'm totally wrong here, but I felt like she was kind of like under like distress, like we thought that was her death scene. So I felt like that might have just been happening later when they're like trying to take her out, not just like trying to talk her down. And then the Phoenix is just like,
you might be confusing that with Apocalypse, because Apocalypse they really stress at one point she's like getting choked in that trailer.
Okay, yeah, probably then. Cause like I said, I have not seen that trailer in a long time.
I'm pretty sure the Dark Phoenix one literally shows her getting thrown, like it shows the death scene without like the penetration.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Penetration.
You literally see her go. Oh!
See, that definitely helped me a lot though, because it did make me feel like more emotional for that scene. Where if I watched the trailer, listen to the director say that she dies. I don't know if he said the first 20 minutes, but she basically confirmed that she dies. So maybe me not like having that knowledge fresh in my mind.
Or maybe you just have a heart and me and Travis don't.
That is true.
Who's to say?
That is true.
No one can really say. But I agree with you. I don't know if I'd say this is her best movie. That's a pretty bold claim. But I thought it was
like as Mystique. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still bold claim.
Yeah. Just because
I'm Jennifer Lawrence's best movie in her entire career.
Obviously, you guys just did a retro and have been watching and analyzing all of them. Whereas I watched Days of Future Past recently, like not like probably.
Okay, yeah.
I think I watched it on one of my flights in and around DePaul, so it was pretty recent that I watched it. But yeah, like the intro scene where she's kind of commanding the team. I took it as like they cared about her, right? There wasn't just like some annoying boss telling them what to do. Like they cared about her opinion, they valued it, and even if they want to do some different strategy, they're like, yeah, we're going to trust her. And obviously, you get some scenes with her and Beast. You get you get the like. I guess you really don't really get a scene of her and Jean like talking. It's more just kind of a couple little lines here or there. But yeah, I guess I bought her relationship. I think she fit in with the team well.
Yeah.
So the emotional impact like should have been there. I think it was just. Honestly, I think it was just like the spoiler of it. It's like I knew she's dying right now.
That's big,
and
especially when the director just tells you.
So I'm not sure why it wasn't as emotional for me, but
Heartless.
I clearly don't have a heart like someone else.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyone else have
Anyone
any
else?
other notes?
No, I'm trying to think.
I just want to say again, the music is amazing
Yep.
because it really deserves to be said. It was a
Fantastic.
really good soundtrack. Like if anything, if this movie's shown up anywhere in the Golden Geeks,
It's there.
it's for soundtrack, and there's a chance it's at least on the table. So
I'll have to look. I don't know if there's ever been a Golden Geeks soundtrack nomination that's just been the soundtrack alone and nothing else. You know, I think
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok might be the only one, which ended up winning best score that year. So yeah. So yeah, I got nothing else to say about this movie.
My little, my fun little trivia that I mentioned. I didn't want to tell Travis before the cast because I wanted to be a shocker to everyone.
Trivia?
Yes, it is. Following the theme of the retro. We have trivia in retros, and I don't know if you'd call this a retro.
You are just assuming that I don't know this, though, right?
I am.
Okay.
But I probably don't know.
At
least. It's a trivia to someone.
I feel like I'm 92% sure you don't know this, and then since you just said that, the percentage kind of went down, but I'm still like 77%
and you know that the
that you don't
listeners,
know.
like some of them aren't going to know.
Oh, some of them probably do, because what? Let me
There's
get
probably
into
some
it.
listeners who don't know what this movie is, and they're just listening because they're fans of us, and I respect you a lot.
So,
subscribe down below.
Okay, so when they're in Paris, Charles and Fassbender, Magneto.
You almost forgot his name.
I did.
Ian
But then you
McAvoy.
didn't.
Ian McAvoy. So Fassbender and McAvoy, they when they're in the Paris playing chess, and it's kind of a send off because those two they have like an interesting friendship dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's kind of panning out and then it's going up to the Phoenix. Phoenix scene up in the sky, it shows the name of the cafe, and obviously it's in French. So people that don't know French probably didn't know this, but it actually translates to the Cafe of Old Friends, which I thought was kind of funny because obviously they're old friends, and like they kind of played on that throughout the entire X-Men series.
That's cool.
So I thought it was cool.
I do know French, and I did not notice that.
Okay, did you know?
No, I didn't. So
Okay,
good job.
perfect. Thank you.
Nice.
I was just waiting for Alfred to pop up from Dark Knight Rises when Charles sat down. It was like the exact same scenery where he sees Christian Bale.
So let me ask you how you came upon this one piece of trivia and only this piece of trivia.
Because I was watching it and it was in French. It said La Café de Patron Vieux.
He speaks French. I learned that in the X-Men retro.
Oh, it was in the subtitles?
No,
Wait,
it was
no, he just
the
caught
title of the the name of the cafe.
restaurant.
Yeah.
So when it was panning up, it was obviously written in French because
Right,
they're
right.
in Paris.
So you know how when you go to a restaurant, sometimes above the doors there's the
it's
name.
a Starbucks.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, what I saw you like saw this trivia like online. Like
Oh
someone,
no, yeah.
there was like
Sorry,
it's like on the IMDb page. It's like that's a pretty bold thing for them to put on there like day one.
I did a bad job at like prefixing what I was about to say.
Hey, it's your first trivia, and it was great.
I think it is.
There's
I
only
think it's
two
really
things
good.
on IMDb or that and Mystique dies 20 minutes in.
Quote
From the
director.
director.
Yeah, Simon Kinberg.
Quicksilver who? Boy.
Yeah. Right on. I don't have any more trivia. So.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay,
guys.
Well, for overalls, I'm pretty sure I might be wrong. I think I gave X-Men Last Stand a 4, and then I think I
you
maybe
did.
like dwindled. But if it's a 4, I'd give it the exact same score because I think there's like similar problems, but then very different problems. But like I said, if I had to rank them, I would put this one below. So for me, it's the second worst. X-Men Origins is still down there, but this had a very good start, like I said. But X3 just has that Jackman of, and that's the thing where Fassbender's in this, but that the advantage we have in X3, Jackman's the main character, and we mostly follow him the whole movie. Where Fassbender is either poorly written or he's out of it a lot of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it just gives me that little slight. And honestly, when we talked more about the Quicksilver stuff and things like that, just things that were grinding my gears, there's things that made me more mad in this, where to me, X3, they did stuff and they just execute poorly, where this was just, instead of executing it, they're like, oh, we might do it poorly, let's not even try. And they just didn't even try, like the Quicksilver stuff, like villain stuff. So, just lazy, uninspiring. I've said this before, but the last half was just not mind-numbing. I was just sitting there, and I could just feel brain cells deteriorating. And that sounds very hyperbolic, but that that's what it felt like to me. It's just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
This is just.
I mean, Emily did fall asleep watching this movie.
She did.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
This is just comic book movies of old, and yeah, like I said, I'm disappointed because I've always wanted the X-Men and the MCU kind of like Spider-Man, where they share. But at the end of the day, I already got Deadpool, I got Logan, I got Days of Future Past, which I feel is greater than many MCU movies. So if even MCU comes out and it's X Factor and it's super lame and I'm not a fan, and they say, oh, we're not going to do McNeil and Charles because it's been done so much, I have these things of movies, and yeah, it leaves a sour taste in my mouth for the legacy a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go back and watch those classic ones because they did give us some great, fantastic X-Men movies, and it sucks that this is not one of them. Even just a decent one, I could have taken, but we didn't get that. But yeah, so 4 out of 10 for me, second worst
Plenty of
X-Men
4.
movie of all time.
Yeah, it's too bad what this movie is, because there's, as we mentioned, there's a lot of inklings or the buddings of what could be really fun ideas if they just changed one or two things, or if they just had one scene between these two characters here, or just took this one thing out. So there's, I don't know, there's some perfect, there's some master cut perhaps where this movie's more interesting and from start to finish. But
the finale wasn't space.
The finale wasn't space at one point in time, so
they changed it clearly because of Captain Marvel.
I mean, the finale still kind of ends in space in some way,
technically.
So I wonder if everyone was in space originally.
I think she probably fought in space, very similar to Captain Marvel when she, especially because Captain Marvel, what does she say? The whole thing is about how her emotions actually make her stronger.
Oh,
and
yeah.
same thing as Phoenix. It's
verbatim, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's why they did change it.
Right. So, yeah, overall, just a disappointing end to what have been not just ballpark movies across the board, but there's been a lot of fun things. There's been amazing characters, and so it kind of sucks that this is the way it goes out. But I think one tip for young filmmakers out there is, if you're going to make a bad movie, or if you realize midway through a project that you're making a bad movie, get Hans Zimmer to do your soundtrack, and I'll still give it a thumbs up. So,
yeah,
am I giving this movie a thumbs up? Maybe not, but it's pretty close. With that soundtrack,
like wavering.
It's a good soundtrack. Yeah, it
soundtrack.
wants to. It wants to.
It was nice to listen to.
It was nice to listen to. This is a movie you could watch with your eyes closed. So
you probably could.
Yeah.
You wouldn't miss much.
Oh,
shots fired.
You wouldn't miss Quicksilver at all, that's for sure.
I really want a gif of that Magneto girl train scene where she just gets pulled out. We got to get Taylor on
In
that.
my mind, I feel like it didn't happen this way, but I feel like he just grabbed her by the face, palmed her.
I can't remember, but yeah, he might have palmed her.
We should definitely Photoshop that being Quicksilver, and then the hand says just X-Men, the director's name on it.
Hey,
that's a meme maker moment, right?
Meme maker right there. There you go. You can whoever makes that, one of the listeners out there, tag us, say hello. You can have all credit for it, but definitely show us, because I want to see it.
Put a little GV logo in the bottom.
Just the tiniest of GV logos.
Mm-hmm. We won't take credit for it, Kirkland. Put the GV logo in the bottom.
Yeah, okay. But talking about this movie though, these two fine gentlemen next to me probably hit the nail on the head here. Basically said everything. Really good soundtrack.
Hit the mystique into the pikes. Right?
Really good soundtrack. It's funny that when you go out of a movie like this, the best part is the music. So that is saying a lot.
Doesn't happen too often.
No. But all seriousness, I did like the beginning of this movie, but we've already mentioned it. It's just, as it went on, it was just not looking good, and it just got worse and worse. So I wish I remembered my ratings for the other ones. Yeah, I never do. But
go with your heart.
Go with my heart.
That's why I don't do the ranking system, and I have nothing to live up to.
No kidding. Especially once you compare two movies, or Taylor's a whole nother can of worms. But but
if you're not careful, you might fall into the same trap.
I know exactly.
Especially when you
maybe it is smart what you do. Just don't do ratings. Yeah. I'm gonna stick to what I was saying earlier, though. I do like this one more than Last Stand, but oh no, what did I say?
You said it was tied, but I think you gave this one a little bit of an edge still over.
You did.
Yeah, so a little bit less than Apocalypse and a little bit over Last Stand. Probably for the action sequences and the CGI, the looks of it. I just probably that probably carries it more than what Wolverine could carry in the Last Stand movie, because I feel
Beast in there too, though,
and Ellen Page.
That is a good point, actually. Maybe this is above. Travis, you just wavered me. I'd say this is probably better or worse than Last Stand. I totally forgot about the OG Beast and how much I like that guy in it. Because for some reason I thought he was in the second movie, but no, yeah.
Number 3.
One and done.
So I'm gonna rate this a 4 out of 10. I hope that makes
Wow.
sense with what my X-Men ranking is. Probably won't, but
I thought it'd be higher than that for you.
well, when I left the theater yesterday, I thought it was a 6, and then you sleep on it. That's why I kind of like doing reviews the day after, because it gets time to like simmer, fully get the real ratings out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like 5, but I'm like, I don't think I could pass this movie.
Yeah.
It was mostly due to like the whole Quicksilver stuff we were talking about, and how they just totally just wrote that off, and it was just like, man, like they didn't even put in an effort, right? To like, because it'd be one thing to like bring in the Quicksilver Magneto dynamic and like have it be terrible, but like they didn't even try. So it's like
I would rather critique that movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would have
nothing.
given them a little bit of credit if they did it that way, but the fact that they didn't even try, and just other things that happened, the villain was so bad, and just I'm not gonna pass it. So I'm gonna leave it a 4 out of 10.
Totally fair.
Just before we go in our X-Men poll tonight, it's Ajax from Deadpool versus Dark Phoenix from Jean Grey.
Ajax is the villain in the first movie.
From Jean Grey. What did you
from Jean Grey?
Okay.
From X3, and it's funny that I slipped up and said that because there's someone in the comments that said Jane all the way.
Shouts out to that guy. I hope you're listening right
It's
now.
that lady, by the way.
Okay. X Factor, we'll call him that.
Like I said, X Factor. I swear, X Factor. Because it's giving me one of those things. If you have a problem with it,
You
like,
can call it not-
are you sexist? Are you misogynist? You know what? I'm
Honestly,
gonna be Taylor
you can
now.
call it not X-Men. I'm fine with that. But don't call it X Factor. Come up with a better
There's
name.
a
than
TV
that.
show about that.
Yeah.
There's a talent show.
Yeah, it's not related.
I just feel like from a branding point of view, like people aren't gonna know, like just do X-Men. Like that's what people know.
Just call it X-Women.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Do it.
Sure, I don't X-Woman and man.
Like
I don't
X-Mon.
know.
Like Jamaican accent on it. M-O-N.
X-Man.
Maybe they'll just take the approach this did, because this movie's technically just called Dark Phoenix. It's not called
true.
X-Men Dark Phoenix.
It
So
is
maybe
true.
do that. I'm more fine with that.
I cannot tell you how many times I got duped by like the Atom app or like trying to look up the IMDb by punching in X-Men and finding absolutely no results.
What?
I'm like,
There's no showing?
I thought I bought a ticket. What movie am I going to?
Did they delay it again midweek? Midweek.
I thought so. I was in the theater and I was
you thought it was
I was
delayed?
actually in the theater before it started, which is a rarity for me. And it was like, I think the movie started at 6:45. It was 6:44, 6:40. The screen is dead. There's no one in, like very little people in the theater. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, did it get pushed back? I checked my phone. It's still there. I'm like, I text Travis. Like, Travis is usually here by now. Where's Travis right now?
No man
and then
in
at like
here.
6:45, it went. It just got right into the trailers. There was no foreplay on that one. It was very bizarre.
I hope they call it X Factor or Far From Home. It's Far From Fox. That's what they should do.
Far from far.
But like I said at the beginning, if you like what we do, if you like this review, please subscribe. We got a great 2 weeks ahead of us. Tarantino retros. I don't know
I
what.
don't know what that was. I thought it was me, but now I think it's you.
No, we got Tarantino retros coming soon.
Toronto.
E3, Men in Black reviews gonna be happening. Toy Story 4, Spider-Man: Far From Home. We got a great month ahead of us. So Comic-Con 2, and then I forgot to announce it. I'll announce it now. I'm gonna clip it out because I thought for X-Men we should have done it, but god damn it, I forgot. For July 20th, that's the official day, right?
It's
19th is the release, right?
Well, that would be a Thursday. I don't know.
For the
If you
we're
stall,
talking about
I
the
can
same
pull
thing,
up.
right?
It's 2 days. It technically.
What do
So
you mean?
you could just reef off one of the 2 days and you.
It's it's the 20th. The 19th is the Friday. So what we are doing for our 4-year anniversary, for our 4-year anniversary, we are going to be doing probably a 24-hour stream if our technology allows us, like we do in November. This time it's not going to be a cherry one. It's just going to be a celebration. We're going to have some fun. We want you to come join. But most importantly, we're going to be playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Oh,
We're gonna play through it all
I'm
multiple
so
times.
excited.
Yeah, so
Especially with the
man.
news dropping that Comic-Con doesn't have anything going on at all. So we're just gonna be playing
So
all day. and
if
night.
there's any like news or trailer, we might stop for a second and do a quick like 20-30 minute cast, but that's what's going to be. It's going to be a day of us streaming, us playing games, hanging out. So come hang out. I should promote at the beginning. I'm so salty that I didn't, but I'm going to be pimping this up for weeks. So July 20th, Margaret, we're still going to do like a 4-year anniversary cast where we ask questions and have fun, but we're going to
that
do a
should be
stream.
like the second week of July.
Yeah, and most
Roughly.
of our Ultimate Alliance content has been doing really well, especially on YouTube. So if you like what we've been talking about, if you're excited, come watch because we're gonna try and play through that entire campaign. We're gonna, like I said, we want it to be a 24-hour stream. We're gonna have some fun there. So yeah, that's gonna be our celebration. So
Yes.
thank you very much for tuning in. Have an exciting day, and until next time, it'll not be boring.
Yeah, you guys didn't have like a set outro, did you?
No, I left it up to Kyle and Kirkland. That was a big mistake.
And it like kind of changed week to week, right?
It was like trying to play on like the X pun.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was. I always forgot till the very end, and then Kyle would quickly like Google something, and they were
our
a little
retro
rough.
outros have been notoriously bad. So.
At one point, Kyle said have an Excalibur day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That was